Hello. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Let me check the mic. Drop a one if you can hear me. Please drop a one if you can hear me. Welcome, everyone. I am extremely sick, like to the point. It doesn't matter. You're not here for that. Please let me know if you can hear me. I think that is the first and foremost. Um, I was thinking about making a studio, but this back wall in my second room, this back wall, like works. In my head, it works. So will I be updating? Probably not. Um, before I start, I'm still in the process of moving. Like I just washed my hair; it's wet, so I can't put it. It's fine. RIP to Angie Stone. I saw that news right before I came on, so that is really sad. That's really sad. And so RIP, RIP, RIP. Um, there is a separate thing that I wanted to show you all. Um, and then we'll get started. Welcome everyone. Please drop where you're watching from. Um, Please let me know where you're watching from. Hey V. Hello. Please let me know where you guys are watching from. Because I know it's 9:46 Eastern Standard Time now. So that's that on that. Someone said New Orleans, New Delaware, California, New York, Florida Bay. Oh. Ah, not Florida. South Carolina, North Carolina. Um, my mom. Oh, probably shouldn't say that. Okay. Hi, mother. I want to say, please save a room for me at home because I'm not staying out of politics. I am so sorry. I'm not. I can't. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. But before we get into politics, we're gonna go to Hannah. I want to talk about Hannah first. But y'all saw this. Y'all saw that they're making y'all saw that they're making flying cars. Y'all saw that they're making flying cars. I think this is AI. I don't believe this is real. I think this is straight up AI. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this is AI. I'm not saying I didn't ask for this. I'm not saying I don't want this. I think that it is important, and I would absolutely love to have a flying car. But let's try to get let's try to get these airplanes to stay in the air first. Like if we have people who are trained, right? Pilots who go to school for this, and they can keep these planes in the air. I am sorry, I don't think we should be adding flying cars, right? Like maybe like 50 years from now. I don't think we're ready. As a society, I don't think we're ready. I do not think we're ready for flying cars. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I don't think we're ready. All right. So let me get into this. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm trying to get my Discord to get something for me, but they will not get it for me. So we're gonna go out without it. All right. Initially, when I heard this story that a young guy was unalived by his girlfriend, the last thing that came to mind was race. I did not hear anything about race. I didn't care. I just knew that someone passed away and my heart went out to them. But then I dug. I didn't have to dig. I I did not have to dig because the diggers gave me the information. Themis, please hire me. Actually, I'm looking for someone to be my assistant, actually, to help me put together my live streams and it's a lot. So if you're serious about that and you're good at this kind of stuff, please let me know because I am down. Anywho, oh, they said check the Discord. All right, let me check the Discord. Please let it be what I want. No, that's not what I'm talking. I'm trying to find the video where the cousin or brother came out. I have part of the video, but I don't have the whole stream. I want to play the whole stream where the brother or cousin is crashing out as if anyone asked for, like, absolutely not. I mean, if it's on Nick at Night, you can let me know where in there. Like, it's fine. I'm not. I have a show. We'll figure it out. All right. He deleted it. I heard. Oh, that makes sense. Social media. Yeah, someone should have had it. Anyway, so let me show you the story. Let's go over this story together because there's a lot of things about this that just it's unnerving to me. First of all, the audacity with which this man comes online to disrespect Black women in particular, because this is not about women. I heard a content creator, won't say the race, I heard a content creator come out talking about, oh, this is how he was treating women and disrespecting women. And so all women should come together. And let me just say this. If y'all don't know what's happening, let's get into the story first of what happened, and then we'll talk. So everything we know about the evolving investigation into the death of Talvin Osborne. Osborne, 30, was found dead from a gunshot wound to the chest after an argument with his girlfriend, Hannah Cobb. Georgia authorities are piecing together details about the moments leading up to the death of Talvin. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. He and his girlfriend were out partying till 5 a.m. They went home. There was apparently an argument of sorts. She gets the gun and it quote unquote goes off and he's been unalived, right? So that's the story. A few important parts of the story include, but it's not limited to, she's white. That becomes very important momentarily. I would never bring up a race if it wasn't important later. She's white. Her dad allegedly is a police officer, and he is a self-hating Black man who have been posting tirelessly about his disdain for Black people, Black women in particular. But there was a post about how he no longer fights white men, he only fights Black men. So that's annoying, but let's get into it. Let me show you one of the tweets. This is from his cousin. This tweet is from his cousin. The cousin came online to ask for help. The cousin said, my cousin's girlfriend, Hannah, killed him Sunday morning and is claiming that she got drunk at the club, came home to clean her gun at 5 a.m. and it accidentally went off. Her dad is a cop and currently she has not been charged. The Burke sheriff has already been warned that it's about to get very real down here. My family's too deep in that area for this to be taken lightly. R RIH, I don't know. Talvin was gonna get justice one way or another. All right. Outside of his like grammar and that kind of issue, the question online has been, should Black women care? And rest in heaven. Oh, you said it's rest in heaven. Well, good for him if he's in heaven. I think that it is wild to be this disrespectful online and think that you were going to be met and think that you're going to be met with anything but like sheer disrespect back. The kind of energy that you put out and expected that we would not return it feels odd. So this is what the brother had to, this is what Talbot had to say when he was alive. I'm not reading that. I am definitely not reading that because why would I? When you are saying that you would prefer um, being with a dog over being with a black woman, um, and the dog has to be white, you have essentially broadcast to the world, on one hand, the disdain you have for black women, right? That is very clear. But on the other, that you have accepted a kind of subjugation, you accept your position, you don't care how you look, and you're willing to participate in the degradation of yourself. Because let's be very clear, it is not just about disrespecting the woman, you're disrespecting yourself. This is just you completely disrespecting yourself, right? And so, seeing something like this, I reached very deep, and this is kind of personal. I reached deep into myself for empathy. I reached deep for a kind of sympathy and care, because a human life is gone. And so there needs to be, even if we disengage, some kind of care. And the inability, I talk I need to find my therapist, but I talked to someone very close to me about this. The inability for me to find, like, I don't understand how I emotionally just disengaged. Like, I was very in tune and care, and then I completely disengaged. And I don't know if that's normal. All right. I don't know if that is appropriate. I don't know what the right thing is, but I do know that my engagement, the even this, right? I think about my footprint, my online footprint, and whether or not I would be able to sit back and listen to myself talk with an audience around me, and whether or not I would be embarrassed by anything that I say. And I wouldn't. I would not be embarrassed. So I don't know how you just come online and not care about how you are being perceived, one, and two, spew the most vile, racist posts that I've ever seen. Like, I have never seen even racist white people engage in this kind of overt racism and hate. And let's be clear, I'm not just going to talk about hatred for black women as misogynoir. This is straight up racism. It, this is straight up racism. Like, this is a deep sense of racism that I would expect to see at a KKK rally or a KKK subreddit or something like that. Not on a person who is actively a part of a society's Facebook. Like, it is not just about him, mind you. It is about the fact that he was able to engage in community with other black people and white people while spewing this kind of rhetoric. Because, like, the white people he's involved with do not get to escape critique, because you saw what this man was doing and you felt elevated enough to be around him and still treat him with what, well, I guess not respect because you shot him. That is a problem. I think that there is obviously the first layer of issues, right? The first layer issue is you posted this. You have re-engage racism actively, openly online for everyone to see, right? That's the first order of business. That's the first level, the most obvious thing to drag, and he should be dragged for it. Anyone who is associated with him, who activated him and engaged with him, can be dragged for it. The second layer of issue is the people with which he is in community. They're a problem too. Very clearly, you are also a problem. This behavior was okay with you. So much okay that we had posts. Sorry, let me go to the Discord so I can pull this. Let me show you some of these posts. All right, they said it is at 38 minutes. All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't like when I'm reviewing something and the person is like talking over me. When we get there, I'll play it. All right. So let's look at this one. Someone said, Talbo, a couple of black girls say they trying to shoot, they shot bra. And then he responds to this by saying, wait, where is the response? Let's go back. Ah, no. Let me pull this up again. I hate when that happens when I'm looking at something and it just like, I'm not signing into. I'm not signing into Facebook. I'm boycotting Facebook. What do you mean? Ain't no more Facebook account. What do you mean? All right, here we go. All right. In his response to this, when they're telling him that there are black women looking for him, he says verbatim, and I quote, now that I spent all my money, I can go date these black women, right? He also had the following to say, which I found very interesting. My name Telbarakin, but you see me, my name Telbarakin, but when you see me, I'm white. Now people are like, "Oh, he was just a child. This was in 2022." What kind of how old? You want to know something? Because someone is responding to these comments and people talking about these comments, and the way they get out of it in their mind is by saying, "I am white." He's a young man, and I just don't get that. Yeah, let me show you one more. I'm showing you this because when I get to the cousin, this is not the important thing for me. The cousin is the important thing for me. But before I get to the cousin, I want y'all to understand why I'm annoyed. Here. All right. I'm not fighting with this. Let's just get to the cousin. I'm not fighting with Facebook because I'm not logging into my Facebook ever again. Well, not ever again, but for a while. I need a reason to log into my Facebook, and I don't have one. All right. So, in a way, I have the screenshots and I don't want to pull them up because it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about him in that specific way. Let me just say this. Rest in peace, wherever you might find yourself, be that heaven or hell. I don't get why it is that someone who has been vile in life, and maybe this is like an idiosyncratic thing for each person. When you're a terrible person in life, the expectation that people think about you kindly when you've passed does not make sense. I do think you can call the police, there should be an investigation, all of that. But the very specific demand for Black people and Black women in particular to care is a heavy ask. It is a heavy. It was not smooth. The move was hectic. I got sick. I got tired. I'm stressed. I got acne. Can't sleep. Got a cold. Got a fever. Head hurting. It is not great. It is not great. Now, one thing I will caution, and you don't have to listen to me. To the Black women here, you don't have to listen to me on this because when he was dragging Black women, no one, absolutely no one, reached out and attacked him or addressed him. So I have no right to tell you what to do. I do find it odd though, and I don't know that it's a good thing to attack his family, except the cousin that we're going to talk about right now, or be purposely malicious overtly. I don't know how that furthers the conversation outside of stoking the flame and pushing further animosity. But I also recognize retribution in a way that I normally don't, and that need to say in your face. And so I won't, I mean, obviously I don't go online policing anyone. So I won't engage with that. But I do find what he did abhorrent. I found what he did disgusting. And I think his cousin, brother, nephew, uncle, I don't care. I think that man is diabolical and should be dragged. So let's do the dragging. Well, not the dragging. Let's do the discussion.
Don't know what the going on. Want to put your funky ass 2 cents in it, like, and then got nerd talking about help somebody on a case. You ain't, where your lawyer license at? Show me your lawyer license. We ain't ask you for no help, ho. What's wrong with y'all? Man, hell, half y'all thought we went viral when he was living.
He said, we ain't asked you for no help. Hold on, let me bring that back.
Somebody on a case. You ain't.
Having only seen a part of this before, I didn't realize that I thought because he got upset, that's why I couldn't understand what he's saying. There is a kind of higher level thinking requires that you engage with things that are inconsistent with what it is that you believe, right? And kind of navigate cognitive dissonance in a way that allows for you to metabolize information, synthesize, and then provide alternative theory or whatever theory you have, right? I don't know that for some of us that we do that kind of analysis. The I don't think we have the capacity after a certain time if we don't deeply engage in the kind of analysis and synthesizing that is required to have conversation and to communicate ideas properly. This is why I don't curse online. I think that it is a shortcut to getting to a feeling that you don't know how to explain. And in the absence of the inability to articulate yourself, there is like frustration and cursing. And I'm not against cursing, mind you, not at all. It's just the way that it's being done here. It's like I don't like seeing men, particularly black men, like this. I don't, because it you're upset, but you don't know how to communicate that upset. And that for me is very dangerous. I don't know if that made sense, but it made sense to me. Like I find people like this very dangerous.
Where your lawyer license at? Show me your lawyer license. We ain't ask you for no help, ho.
What was y'all? Why y'all come to social media telling us what happened here? Why y'all come to social media making that big post talking about that it was racist? Why y'all come to social media talking about white privilege?
Oh, by the way, let me play something that I do need to play right here.
Trick 'em, devil. Trick 'em, devil. Don't play at me. Don't do that. Y'all go find something safe to do. Go find something safe to do. Since everybody felt so hit by the black bitch poke, go play with your mama. Go play with your daughters. That shit said y'all took that post and ran with it the way y'all ran with it. Talking about he don't like black people. Man, y'all bitches sound so stupid. Y'all some illiterate, dumbass black people. Y'all some dumbass niggas.
It is so wild to me. It is actually so wild to me that you're calling us illiterate and dumb after I just realized that your inability to articulate that which you feel, the irony here is not lost on me. The irony, the absolute irony here is not lost on me. This is wild. Calling calling anyone illiterate. All right, go off.
Y'all ain't even black people. Y'all some dumbass niggas. Dumbass niggas. All us on the post laughing. We country niggas. We know what the fuck we laughing at. That's why mama always say, mind your fucking business. Mind your motherfucking business. Y'all want to go viral for the wrong shit. You want to go viral? Y'all want to be famous? I'll make your ass famous. I'll make your ass famous. Because you fucking with the right one. I've been all out since he was living, and goddamn when he gone, I'm still gonna rock out about him. You fucking right. You fucking right. Damn right, that's my brother. Right, wrong, I'ma ride. What? Who gonna do something? Who gonna do something? Who gonna do something? Leslie ain't in this shit.
While I can understand wanting to protect the image of someone you love and feeling attacked when someone brings up the fact that the person you love is not a good person, it is one thing to defend, it's one thing to love, but it's another thing entirely to just absolutely lie and ignore the reality of who your brother was. He was a terrible person. He was repugnant. He spoke ill of Black people and Black women in particular. He compared them to an animal and then chose the animal over Black women. Now, to be clear, I don't think any Black women saw him and were like, oh, let me get chose, right? But to not understand how people would react is insane to me. I think a better way to do this would have owned the fact of who your brother was and move on and talk about the justice system and whether or not he will be getting justice. But like I'm refraining from putting a post up where your brother is saying that he will die anyway. It is your brother was very specific in his life about that which he cared about, that which he loved, and that which he wanted, right? And so when he got part of what he wanted and that which he wanted took his life, it is difficult for other people who he discarded to have the kind of empathy that you would want them to have when he has continuously disparaged those women, Black women, that he did not want to be with. When he is hashtagging Team White Women, when he's posting that white women are greater than Black women, when he's talking about being with a dog over a Black woman, when he's talking about exploiting Black women for their labor and finances to give to white women, when he's engaging this way, you don't then get to look at a community and think that a community of Black women will care or can activate. Even if they could and wanted to, it would look real dumb, wouldn't it? It would look real suspect for the group of women that he has destroyed their image in his life, in his death now, for those women who he has continuously attacked to come and fight for him. The issue now is, why would he think that? Why would you believe that Black women who you disparage should be there for you? Maybe because historically that is what has happen. And thankfully, with this kind of new social media storm, there is a kind of awakening happening where women, Black women in particular, are waking up to the fact that their labor is being used and exploited, and they're not gaining anything for it. And so I don't think that it's right. I don't think it's appropriate. And I don't think there is anything to gain from Black women standing up for men who disparage them. That doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. I want to continue to watch the Nick at Night video. It's very difficult. It's very difficult because she's engaging, and so like I just want to hear this man talk, but we'll try to push through. Yeah, his cousin and brother think Black women's self-esteem is as low as theirs. And your self-esteem must be real low if you just jump in front to protect a man who has continuously disparaged your image. Like, Black women, by and large, online are minding their business when it comes to this. There's no critique. Like, I'm looking at Black women online and I haven't seen one yet that is like, justice, whatever. They're like, well, not our fight. And they're not even being malicious. The ones that I saw aren't even being malicious. They're like, just not my fight, nothing to do with me. That makes sense. That literally makes sense. that makes sense. Even for Black men, like when you're saying you're done fighting white men, you're gonna only fight Black men. Like, wait. like actually though, like what? I don't fight, so like
privilege and oh, this white woman did this to him and this is so jacked up. Why y'all made that post if y'all wasn't looking for our help? You guys made a whole public service announcement about how the privilege of Hannah was getting her not to be charged and how this was a whole scheme that Todd set up because of the color of her skin. If that wasn't asking for us to get involved, I don't know what is. And then it was a female, S something. She also made a post on Twitter that was going viral.
What's wrong with y'all? Man, hell, half y'all saw when he went viral when he was living. Y'all see what I'm saying now? Y'all see the type of timing. It's the miserable bitches. The bitches that ain't got going for themselves. The ones that want to be influencers. Your ass better go influence something else. Because you finna influence ass whooping.
Ooh, is you threatening us?
Okay. I'm not about to say it, but Nick at Night said it. Are you threatening to hit the women speaking online? Okay, so there is abuse in the family, at least from one person in the family. We can confirm that one person is abusive. No allegedly at all. When you're threatening to attack women online or anyone online, you're abusive. And so there is at least one person right now in the family advocating is abusive. Actually, let me play something for y'all real quick. This news clip, I forgot this YouTuber's name. Because he was talking about, oh my God, the brother is so amazing. The brother got justice, blah, blah, blah. And I think I wanna play. Let me play this for y'all.
Campaign worker.
That's so very annoying. What's his name?
Possible.
Yeah, here it is. Ugh. Because you must have not seen this clip. You must have not heard this clip, because this man right here, who I don't have any issues with, Dr. Richard Ritchie or whatever, I don't have any issue with him. But he gonna be praising the brother/nephew, the Dusty Man that we just saw. This one is going to be praising him. So let's hear the praise.
Attempted cover, shoving early on, alleging she shot his quote, sorry, but I don't buy it. And she needs to be locked up. It's negligent to even consider cleaning a gun. If that's what happened, what if a child was there? You're cleaning a gun. You had to pull the trigger on the gun. So WTF was your finger around the trigger. This is ridiculous. Once again, the young brother is providing the same level of investigative prowess we would expect from the law enforcement agency. So you're drunk, but you went home to clean a gun. You're intoxicated, but you're cleaning a gun. Is your gun always not on safety? Why was your finger around the trigger of the pistol? And then you're dealing with trajectory, aim, everything else. So Roderick Williams alleges a racist cover-up in subsequent post, writing, quote, Georgia headlines make sure to broadcast everything blacks do, but a white woman kills my brother, and I haven't seen anything online at all other than our grieving family shaking my head. By February 24th, Roderick Williams wrote that his sources have told him the house his brother shared.
Let me just be very careful. For anyone watching and see me smile, it's these comments, and I refuse to put them on the screen. I refuse to engage with them. These comments are very out of pocket, and I am just refusing to engage with them. Timothy, you know good and well we're dragging. I don't know that. I haven't seen it. To be fair, I've been missing in action. Thank you, by the way, Snowceopath. Everyone drop us S in the chat. This is I was watching someone's live and they're like, drop an S, there's a super chat, drop an S, win Snowceopath, there's an S. So I'm trying to incorporate that. Wait, y'all actually doing it? Oh, thank you, Snowceopath. Look at all the appreciation.
With Ms. Cobb has never been set up as a crime scene. And if so, it wasn't one right after my brother was found dead there, meaning they did not secure it. So why didn't law enforcement feel the need to do so, he asked. Why didn't they contact the media immediately? They knew they needed to cover up for her actions. He also posted a video allegedly of Cobb dancing at a club just hours before his brother's shooting. Osborne's case bears an eerily similar resemblance to that of Christian Toby Abumseli, who was fatally stabbed inside of a luxury apartment building. Remember that?
I bet you he's not going to explain how they're similar. I bet you he's not about to explain how they're similar. The only explanation for how they're similar for his mind is how the police did not act in time to sort of investigate and lock the women involved up. In his mind, he's bringing these two cases up to do a comparison, and he's not actually going to do the comparison. This is trash. I don't think, mind you, with all respect to Dr. Ritchie, with all respect, I don't think he is ignorant of these two men's posts. I don't think he's ignorant of their hatred, but I think that he's focused on the system. Because for a lot of people, let me tell you this disgusting, degenerate thing that I hate. A lot of people, when they talk about the system, they divorce that from whiteness. They divorce that from white womanhood in particular. They divorce that from human beings. If you're doing that, you are a liar. And you don't want to engage with the fact of what the system means, right? But you can critique the system, and I'm here for his critique of the system, whatever. My problem is when you're doing this comparative analysis and you brought up this other man down there in Florida getting stabbed by his OnlyFans girlfriend, you're not also adding about the self-hatred that they perpetuated against Black people and Black women in particular, and how that might have led them to a very specific kind of white woman. Because let me be very clear on this. I do not believe any self-respecting human being will ever date someone from another race if that other person is consistently speaking down about their own race, man or woman. I think there has to be something deeply wrong with you. Either you're racist or there's something else that I just don't fully understand yet. I don't believe that you can be a fully agentic human being with care and compassion, a regular person, if you will. I don't think you can date someone from a different race if the person from the different race is speaking poorly about the women they came from. Don't make sense to me. Don't make sense to me. So in that way, I think these women know these men knew exactly who these women were, and these women knew who they were and who these men were. And they were a match made, well, I can't say heaven. No, imagine, if you will, mostly women. Imagine you're a white woman, right? Imagine what it's like to date a man, a black man who is only online just disparaging black women, his mother, his sister, if he has any, family. That's weird. That is weird.
This in my Miami's Edgewater neighborhood. This was April 3rd, 2022, by his white girlfriend, Courtney Clenny, an OnlyFans model and an Instagram influencer, who was ultimately charged for his murder after her own friends told the police she did it. Clenny had claimed she stabbed her boyfriend in self-defense, and for months, she and her attorney claimed, oh, he was abusive. Yeah, that's what happened. However, video footage circling online and statements made by mutual friends suggested that Clenny was the violent one towards her boyfriend. This is fascinating. And my goodness, the consistency and the love from the brother in this case, I believe, made all the difference in the world. The questions he posed, the people who looked at the post, the individuals who decided to share it, and the media who initially was complicit in the conspiracy, willfully or not, they were complicit.
What conspiracy? What conspiracy? This black man dated a white woman whose dad is a police officer. They went out, came back, and apparently there's an accidental shooting. I don't know. What conspiracy are you talking about? And you are not giving props. I know for a fact you're not sitting there giving props to the brother / cousin, because honest to God, I don't know this man's relation to the Talbot. You are giving props to him while he's out here actively dragging black people. That don't make sense to me. That legit don't make sense to me.
Because they didn't ask those questions. And why was it not, why was the crime scene not protected? Oh, because they did not see it as a crime scene. That's why. All right. This is one of those very nuanced stories where a brother is able to get significant investigative information that clearly establishes a circumstantial and somewhat forensic case against the person who killed his own brother. He does this online, and all of a sudden there's a charge. What's that?
Yeah, I love that you pointed out the difference between the legal terms at the top of the story, because so often
I just wanted y'all to see that there were men on here talking about, oh, the brother is so good and so kind. This is the brother dragging black people right now. This is the brother threatening to go abuse black women. This brother is the brother sitting up here getting praise, mind you. This person is getting, like, this is so wild to me. It feels like we're in the Twilight Zone. This man is getting praised by news anchor, another black man, talking about how brave he is and good he is and fighting for justice, all of that, right? But it's the same man right now online threatening black women and black people, calling people all types of B's and H's, dragging people, calling us delusional, calling us illiterate. Meanwhile, ... Like, that's the man you're pedestalizing right now. Are you sure that's what you want to do? Are you sure? Because he just threatened black women. He said if you keep talking online, he gonna fight you. That's what he just said. Are you sure that's the one you want?
Was that a threat, sir? That sound like a threat. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go back. That sound like a threat.
How we went viral when he was living. Y'all see what I'm saying now? Y'all see the type of timing. It's the miserable bitches, the bitches that ain't got going for themselves, the ones that want to be influencers. Your ass better go influence something else, because you finna influence ass whooping.
Child, I want all the black women in the chat, those who are watching this live. If you're watching this live, once I'm done being live, I want the comments flooded. I want the comments flooded with nothing but black women, what profession you're in, and what you got going on. I just want to see something. Because the people who are saying, he's saying that we ain't got nothing going on with our lives. So I want to know in the chat.
Fine, whatever, do that. But that threat, though, if Talbot was anything like this man on the screen, ... leave that there. If the one unalive was anything like the one on the screen, ... Like, what do you mean you're threatening women you don't know online for saying they're sitting this one out? Y'all just threatening people now? Like, is that what we're doing?
What y'all got going on in y'all lives? What's your career path and all of that? And I just want to see something real quick. But let's bring it back, because he over here threatening us and saying we ain't got nothing going on and all that.
What's wrong with y'all bitches? Man, hell, half y'all how we went viral when he was living. Y'all see what I'm saying now? Y'all see the type of timing. It's the miserable bitches, the bitches that ain't got going for themselves, the ones that want to be influencers. Your ass better go influence something else, because you finna influence ass whooping. Y'all tripping. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let my brother rest in peace. I stayed quiet long enough. I don't watch everybody Twitter post what they post. Everybody want to be funny. Everybody want to be.
Your brother wanted to be funny, in your words. He was the one posting online. He disrespected a lot of people. Did you have this energy to him when he was disrespecting black women? Did you have that? Did you have this energy right now for your brother when he was alive? Because if you did, we don't care. But if you didn't, you need to take that energy somewhere else. Because what we're doing right now is redirecting that energy and using it for our benefit. Rightfully or wrongfully, that's what's happening, because you're out of line, you're out of pocket, you don't have sympathy, no one cares about you specifically, because what you're doing right now is disrespectful. You're coming online, you're dragging people, telling us we're illiterate, telling us we're dumb, and threatening women that you're going to beat them up. Maybe don't threaten people online. Try that just there. I'm not reading that comment. Y'all play too much. Yeah, go confront Hannah. Go talk to Hannah. Drag Hannah. Speak. The fact that a white woman unalived your brother, and he was praising white women, and black women are saying we don't care, we have nothing to do with it, regardless of what black women are saying, right? They were not the one who unalived your brother. So with all the energy that you have, I feel like the person that you should hate the most right now is the one who unalived your brother, and the police that you think aren't doing anything about it. I think those are the two people, the institution and Hannah. Oh, but it's easier to drag black women. That's what your brother was doing. You look mad, you look angry, you look cross, angry, miserable. You look mad. Get it, clock it, understand it. But why are you mad at black women? Did black women kill, unalive, take your brother out? No. His girlfriend did. And I addressed his girlfriend.
be funny. Yeah, that way he get. Yeah. But guess what? One thing I know. When you serve a God that sit high and look low, yeah, ain't no retaliation. God gonna make you feel the same thing we feeling. And mark my words. Mark my words. Huh? I'm a firm believer.
Okay.
My brother, rest in peace. I stayed quiet long enough.
All right. And he didn't stop there, okay? He did not stop there. He had more to say and he had more to get off his chest. So after he went on rants on video, he to the right, to the left. Okay.
Goddamn, I'm finna get it to you. And y'all swear y'all bullying a bit. Boy, listen here. I fight for real. Y'all ain't talking about shit. My cousin said what he said 11 years ago. Why y'all bitches find the time to go down somebody's timeline? Goddamn. And the only bitches that matter is the black middle bitches.
I do think when anything happens, just go. I'm actually going to tell y'all what to do on these, not just Republican, but Democrats. Please go on their X, Twitter, whatever it's called, and type in Ukraine or Russia and screenshot, go back as far as you can with the war in Ukraine and Russia, and screenshot quickly everything that they've said, because apparently these people, including Marco Rubio, which I'll talk about in a moment, very disappointed in him. Don't know why I even had any faith or thought that he would be better. Anywho, screenshot all they're saying right now, archive them, because we're going to need them later, because we have completely switched on our geopolitical stance in a way that is very frightening to me, very frightening. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there now. We'll get back to that later. Let him continue to crash out. Because what he should be saying is, my brother said that a long time ago and he has changed. Okay, show me where he's changed. You can. Sucks to suck. So if he had changed, that would have been great. But some of these posts were from last year. So that.
God damn. What you mad for? Y'all ain't gonna get no straightening? What you mad for? And to that bitch, the realest whatever, the whole that said my post. Listen here, bitch, we ain't asked you to be no lawyer. We ain't asked you to be no doctor. We ain't asked you to be no preacher. Hell, we ain't even tell you to mind our business. That's what's wrong with y'all black folks now. Y'all always telling somebody business.
Sir, I don't know if you know or not, but you're black too. I mean, it's as if you don't know that you're also black. Like, you know what I'm saying? He over there, that's what's wrong with y'all black folks. And then he said, boy, you better you something, boy. Like, it's almost like he don't know. What is
Definitely a wife. Look,
does his mirror that he's using at home have like a little glaze over it or something? Like,
how do I do this? How do I do this? Snowfiopath with a $4 super chat. Thank you, Snowfiopath. Everyone drop an S for Snowfiopath. She says, I can't believe how many groups of people really expect black women to be their default warriors, right? This is scary. We have been completely dehumanized. Exactly. Snowfiopath. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that so much. When Snowfiopath, this is what these streamers do, and I was on the street. I have to give y'all some story time, but these streamers are out of pocket.
Like, what reflection do you see, sir?
I'm finna get it to you. And y'all swear y'all bullying a bit. Boy, listen here. I fight for real. Y'all ain't talking about shit. My cousin said what he said 11 years ago. Why y'all bitches find the time to go down somebody's timeline? Goddamn. And the only bitches that matter is the black middle bitches. Goddamn.
Ignoring this man, never. Wait, why not? You don't want to be appreciated. I feel like I'm like giving energy and appreciation for your hard-earned dollars. I thought you would love that. Yeah. wait, why? Wait, why are you saying this? Why are you saying this? Thank you. Thank you. Keep going, Timothy. Don't let him. I will. I will. Y'all play too much.
What you mad for? Y'all ain't gonna get no straightening. What you mad for? And to that bitch, the realest whatever, the whole that said my post. Listen here, bitch, we ain't asked you to be no lawyer. We ain't asked you to be no doctor. We ain't asked you to be no preacher. Hell, we ain't even tell you to mind our business. That's the wrong with y'all black folk now. Y'all always telling somebody business. Damn right, my cousin said, goddamn, he'll fuck a white dog before he fuck a black bitch. And he meant that. Y'all.
He meant that. So when you said that was a long time ago, that he has changed, he's a better person, he has grown. When you said all of that, you didn't believe it. You didn't think he changed. You didn't think it was a long time ago. You are now confirming he meant that. So now why are you upset? I need to calm down. Why are you upset that people took his word as he wrote them and had statements about his words? It was a long time ago, but you said he meant it. Like, see, here's the thing about intellect. One of the ability to hold ideas while connecting them to other ideas, right? Like, if everyone can hold an idea, right? A statement usually is an idea. It's an idea, right? Then another statement is another idea. And then another statement put forward another idea. Great, beautiful, amazing. What slight intelligence can do for you is connect these ideas in a principled way that makes sense. You don't get to sit up there. Yeah. You do not get to sit up there and make a statement and then make a contradicting statement and then think, why are people upset with me? Why don't they just take my statement in a vacuum right now as I'm saying it and not compare that which I'm saying now to that which I've said previously? We don't do that. You know that, right? You know we gonna do that. Please like the stream, everyone. Like the stream. Wait, sorry, I'm trying to do the streamer thing. Like the stream. Y'all just like the stream. I ain't got it in me. I'm too tired. I'm too tired, and we have so much information to go through today. We have so much. I don't plan on going into my bed because I don't plan on sleeping. But like, can you all like the stream? It does well, something algorithm, something. Let me just do a poll, actually. The poll is, did you like the stream? So it's going to force you all to act. We have over 600 people here and only 200 likes. Let's do a poll. Did you like the stream? I can't spell you. I definitely put Y-O-I. Did you like the stream? Post. All right, let's see. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's like the stream. Let's keep it demure theme. No, I'm trying to get into my gamer, bro. I watch. It don't matter.
Yeah. Ain't playing with boy. And then the bitch come out, she got daughters. We don't give a what you got. The only the bitter bitches mad about shit like that. You bitter bum broke bitches. Y'all want to go famous?
He is upset. Okay.
Getting a camera phone to be quote unquote hood. I don't know what the hood means, but to claim your hood and you're about that life, I don't know what it means to be about that life, whatever. But to claim all of that and take your phone and legitimately look into your phone while yelling at your phone and posting that is diabolical and nasty work. It is up there with crying, posting you crying, taking a picture of you crying and then posting it. It's up there with that. It is wild. It is wild to be sitting up there looking with your head leaned sideways, emoting the way that you're emoting in a phone camera. I think that's wild. And I need a new chair because this is creaking.
I cannot just stop it. Sends in a donation and says he's more mad at black women than the one who pew-pewed his family. What is up with his little brain? Child, he is upset. I'm sending my condolences to you, Rocco. I know you're hurting and I know you're upset. And in another lifetime, if you actually cared for black people, we probably could have been friends because you are funny. Okay, you're hilarious. Like, I could see myself sitting up and kikiing at you carrying on and just carrying on. Okay. But unfortunately, you and Talvin and you guys were raised some type of way to be upset. I'm not sure if y'all mamas was not doing what they were supposed to, if you got too many belts.
Yeah, no, let's move on. I'm gonna just go ahead. I mean, before I respond to something that I was not prepared to respond to, before I engage with something that I was not ready to engage with, let's just move on and talk about Talbot and let's just do that. See if there's any more. Yeah.
But let's go find me then. Y'all voicing your opinion. Oh, talk that. Yeah, I'm here. Y'all about halfway across the world talking crazy. Huh? Don't know what the f going on.
Anywho, so I think this is interesting. I'm putting myself in his shoe. This is called empathy. Very difficult to do, but I can do it for him, not the brother. I'm putting myself in his shoe, and I'm thinking, my brother was a degenerate person who disrespected all races, well, black women for other races of women, right? He said he would die for this woman, love this woman. This is the kind of woman that he wants to marry and be with, and he never said anything about marry. He never said anything about marriage because he was not. But and he's dragging black women, and the woman that he loved and cared about shot and killed him. If I were the brother, I think I would be upset too. But I would be upset at my brother. I would be upset at the brother, my brother who got unalived. I would be upset at the girlfriend who unalived the brother and the system. The last people I would be upset at are the people who he was dragging. Themis should pause this until folks like the live people play too much. Thank you. I actually think so too. There's a lot of work, but I don't want you to like it because it's a lot of work. I want you to like it because I got better lighting. I got better lighting and the skin is giving dark. And that's why I'm on. I've been waiting very desperately to come online. Let me look at the voting. 90% of y'all said you liked the stream. 6% said no, you didn't. Why is there 6% who said they didn't? Just like the stream. Anyway,
Want to put your funky ass 2 cents in it, like, and then got nerd talking about help somebody on a case. Where your lawyer license is? Show me your lawyer license. We ain't ask you for no help, ho.
Well, I'm so glad that y'all didn't ask for no help because
ain't no help to give. Ain't no help to give. The psychology of someone who disrespects a group of people, your brother disrespects people so fundamentally that I don't understand why you would look to those same people, black women, to come to your defense. Let's talk about black womanhood generally before we get into this political stuff. Integrated Purgatory, that's a strange name. Thank you so much for being a member. The dance, the little dance to dance. All right. I think that the war against black women. Let me do this. Taurus is love luxury. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh my god, I'm so Can you look up 4 Points Road in Waynesboro, Georgia? I can, but not right now. Drop a T for Tauruses. Love luxury. Drop a T. Sorry, I'm petty. No. You're fine. Drop a T. Drop some T's, everyone, for Taurus. All right. I think that when it comes to Black women, I think that there is this notion, and I think that if we delve deep enough, a lot of people would say that this idea came from slavery, and I don't know that that is necessarily true. But I think a lot of Black men have decided that Black women, or this Black man, but a lot of Black men have decided that Black women are good for labor. And there is an unwillingness to see Black womanhood in the way womanhood is seen generally. There is a kind of power that comes with this, but it doesn't actually allow for the kind of growth and care for Black women that is necessary. It comes through in the Black women are strong, right? And it is that through line for me that I think about when I see someone who, knowing his brother disparages Black women, would come online and expect a kind of sympathy and engagement in activism like Black women do for his brother who was actively disparaging Black women. And so, because this has happened before, we've seen Black women mobilize for people who did not have their best interests at heart. I think that this is kind of expected. I do, however, think that flipping that on its head is going to get real uncomfortable for a lot of men. Because men, I think, have generally expected Black women to just show up. And not just show up in activism in the way this brother is asking you to show up for his unalived brother, but show up even in this man becomes successful and rich and marries white. He loses the money and then finds a Black woman to take care of him. There is a very specific kind of narrative that happens for Black women. And the narrative is told, I think, by, let's say, white supremacists broadly, but by Black men who have accepted the role of Black women. And I heard within the 1960s when we talk about Black men who are fighting for civil rights, talking about how white women and access to white women is some kind of liberation, right? It is this coveting of that which, quote unquote, the master has, and humbling of Black women and treating Black women as if they are not, in the way femininity is perceived, they're not included in the femininity performance. Again, this has pushed, I think, Black women to become self-sufficient. And then they are hated by these same men when these women, Black women, become self-sufficient. So there's no winning, right? You don't treat these women kind, you don't treat them well, you don't care for them, you don't pedestalize their womanhood, you don't engage with them meaningfully and carefully, right? You don't do any of that. And when they say, okay, let me do this myself, let me go to school, get this education, get this job, and create for myself the life that will make me self-sufficient, that will make me fulfilled, at least as fulfilled as I can be, while people are disparaging me all over, including the men that come from my community. When they do that, these same men drag them for being, quote unquote, masculine. And so for me, I have long disengaged. I think there is a re-engagement with Black community issues, particularly, that is starting right now. I've disengaged, and I think I should open up somewhat about why it is that I have disengaged from the gender war and Black men, Black women issues, why I disengaged and why I'm going to re-engage. The reason I disengaged is because I think there were a myriad of other things happening in the world around politics that I thought super important and in need of engagement and practical advice and a kind of back and forth, right? I disengaged, not really, because I still had the conversations on like Discord and here and there. But the cultural issues took a backseat while I focused on the political issue. And I'm trying to find a balance to do both. The reason I'm re-engaging is the political and the cultural are not that different. And this is where we get into politics slightly. I did not know that the fight internationally was similar to the fight nationally. What I mean by that is there is this rejection of liberal ideas about womanhood that goes hand in hand with feminism, liberal ideas around manhood, about what a man can be, right? And whether or not they can be emotionally aware and careful. Let's call them soy boys for now. Terrible phraseology, but it's the rejection of. I didn't realize globally there was a conservative movement to reclaim masculinity one. I thought that was just an online thing. Did not an American thing, right? Because I was so preoccupied with what is happening in America, I neglected a more broad, and one of my studies was international studies. So the fact that I just kind of shut out, I mean, I knew peripherally who was winning where and like understanding what is happening in geopolitics, but I did not realize that Donald Trump winning is not new in terms of it's only happening in the US. It is happening globally. I think that a lot of people, myself included, find feminism extreme. Most of liberalism is so extreme now, it's off-putting. Yeah, no, I think that there is a rhetorical control of what is happening for womanhood, manhood, and society. And I do think that the conservative movement is better at articulating outrage and speaking directly to fears, be they perceived real or perceived fake, right? Whether or not we engage in the kind of rhetorical back and forth, I don't know if that is going to be useful, but I do want to engage in some kind of practical and global engagement, because I accept that the politics is about men and women. That is so wild that the entire international political framework, even economics, it's about men getting money to get women, right? It's about whether or not women get to participate and how much women get to participate. Wars are being fought to claim land to make countries bigger. What does it mean to be bigger and better? What does it mean to put America first? All of these questions, I think, are intrinsic in the gender wars that I do think we need to look at from through a different lens. Weak men are mad that women are educated. Weak men are mad that men they deem to be physically weaker than them are excelling. Weak men, and by weak men, I'm talking about a very specific group of men, incels and content creators, essentially. They look at the New World Order post Cold War, when we have a weak men are mad. When we look past this bipolar world order, where we had Russia on one end and the US on another, in an effort to kind of figure out who will become the most powerful in terms of the arms race, right? Then we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. There was a kind of engagement globally about making sure that we don't have World War III, that men and masculinity will not shove us into another world war that will be destructive, right? So these men blame the system for making other men weak. These men blame the system for making women tougher. These men blame the system for making women liberal and free and sexually promiscuous. These men think the system has so fundamentally changed that their everyday life has been impacted. And if we just went back to the 1950s and before, that women will be back in their place and they will all have a wife. What they don't understand is that's not how progress works. And they do know what progress is, they just don't want progress. And so we now have to reconcile the New World Order that came about after yesterday, really, when President Zelensky was speaking to Donald Trump, and everything seemed fine enough until Dusty JD Vance decided, I said I wasn't going to do that. Until JD Vance decided that he was going to intervene. And now we have to talk in depth we have to get into one at the end of the stream. We need to get back to the gender wars. That's the first thing. The second thing is we now need to engage in politics. And I don't know how I'm going to ask you to find empathy for some of the things that no drag him. Now y'all trying to get me out here caught up. Taurus says, love luxury says, I think it's a new age thing to think a woman who is well taken care of and can pay her own way is masculine. I think it shows how far the men have fallen behind in comparison. Feminism is not extreme. Now, here's the thing. I agree with you. Feminism is not extreme. I think some articulation of it might seem extreme to some people, but even beyond that, empathy. No. Empathy for fellow women. I'll explain that in a minute. Not empathy. My empathy tank is dry generally. But Taurus, drop a T for Taurus. Everyone drop a T. It's how we show appreciation for. Take the first letter of the super chat so we can do it quickly to spam the chat with T's. However, I think men have fallen behind because they believe that if a woman, and this has been articulated by people in the manosphere, but a lot of men are writing books or doing research on the fact that women on average get a 3.3 to a 3.5 GPA coming out of high school, and boys get a 3.0 to a 3.2, right? It's a 3.0 and a 3.2, right? Why does that need to be studied? I'm not saying don't study it, but your conclusion cannot be that men are failing. A 3.0 is not a failure. Men doing poor in comparison to women is only bad if the poor that they're doing is failure. They're not failing. You can still go to college. You're choosing not to go to college. You're choosing not to go to college. Even if women had been getting a 4.0 and you are getting a 3.0, you can still work. You can still go to school. You can still get scholarships. You can still study. You can still learn, and you can still get a job. The fact that the rhetoric around men doing less, poorer than women is wild. The rhetoric is that something is wrong with boys and men, and they can't compete, and they can't do anything, and they're failing. Well, if you don't go to school, you're going to fail, but you're not failing if you have a 3.0. No, a 3.0 is not bad. Y'all not gonna play in my face. No, I don't know what a 3.0 look like. It's absolutely not. Look, I think if you got a 3.0, you're doing. If my child graduates with a 3.0, I would be very proud of them. Would I be proud of myself if I graduated with a 3.0? Yes. Yeah. Look, what I'm saying is that you're still passing. Taurus, thank you. 2 L's, and everyone drop a T. Can everyone drop a T for 2 L's? Thank you for the $5 super chat. It is time to change the assumption or the expression of masculine as strength or strong. Adhering to these mindset means people still uphold patriarchy. Yeah, no, for real. For real. But, I don't think people want to divest from patriarchy. I think there's a lot of people who think that patriarchy is good for them, works for them, and if men just get it right, all will go well. If that's your belief, I get why you want to believe that. I get why you think that being a stay-at-home wife, whatever it is that you're stay-home doing, is good for you. And I won't push back on that, but I would challenge you, to think more broadly about the meaning of your own personhood, comparatively speaking, to a man. Like, would you want the option to provide for yourself, care for yourself, love yourself, right? Or would you want that to be completely stripped away where a man gets to determine your value based on their attraction to you, based on their love for you? I hope, even if you want the world where men takes care of you, a man takes care of you, I hope in that world you would also want the option of taking care of yourself. Like, I hope that much is clear. But let's get into some political take. The fact that y'all haven't liked the video is wild. We have 371 likes, and I feel like we should get to 500. So can we get to 500 likes, please? Thank you very much. All right. So when it comes to foreign policy, Donald Trump. Wait, y'all want to break? Y'all want to break before we get into foreign policy? Because yeah, these town hall meetings. I've been watching Republicans go home to town hall meetings.
Elon Musk has contracts.
I should. No, I'm not gonna watch them. I'm not gonna watch them. Let's not. Let's not. Instead of watching these town hall meetings, let's hear people tell us that children need to work. Y'all want to hear people telling us that children need to work and earn their living? Let's do that. I feel like,
look, I mean, that is a valid.
McCormick, Rich McCormick. Where's he from? Let me look at this. It's Georgia, right? I think Rich McCormick is Georgia. It doesn't matter. Let's get children to work. Let's put kids to work, Rich McCormick. This was a while ago. Let's do it.
Look, I mean, that is a valid goal, right, to save money and be more efficient, right? But the bottom line is, right now with this freeze, vulnerable populations could be directly impacted. And so my question to you, just to follow up with you, would you support getting rid of, school lunch for vulnerable kids and breakfast and Head Start, for example, and getting rid of childhood cancer research? Do you support that? And what do you say to your constituents? I want to follow up on that question too, because I didn't hear an answer from you.
Sure. So I'm an ER doc, and I know that philanthropy is where you get most of your money for childhood cancer research, for example. And it's not just you look at what the president just proposed, $500 billion.
Childhood cancer research. Would you cut money for this? He goes, well, I mean, it's donations. Cancer research for children, they usually get it through donation. Will you be in support of cutting funding for research regarding childhood cancer? That's a very specific question. It's a yes or no question also. It's a yes or no question also. Would you be in favor of cutting that? Let me know. Let me know. And if you're a Republican in the chat, please don't feel uncomfortable, because this should not make you uncomfortable. This man just can't tell you if he gonna cut.
Spending bill on AI to produce cancer early detection in the first stage on most body parts. That's his spending bill, where he wants to increase cancer research. So it's just about what part of the money it comes out of. When you talk about school lunches, hey, I worked my way through high school. I'm
Wait! I should have done a video on this. The fact that this is in a live, this is going to be hidden in a live, is annoying me. This should be a video in and of itself. Oh my God, this should be a video in and of itself. How am I messing up this badly? So that will be a yes. Because he does not answer, would you support cutting funding for research regarding childhood cancer? He has not answered that question. He heard the question. He went off and told you that most of the money for childhood cancer comes from donation, right? Most of it comes from donation. Yeah, that's cute, but would you cut the funding for that kind of research? That was the question. I don't care where it comes from, who it comes from, when it comes from. Would you be in favor of cutting government funding cancer research for children? That's the question. That is the question. To fund or not to fund. That is the question. Now, I feel like I haven't belabored this point enough, but let me just go back. So after he does that tangent on cancer research, now he's at school lunch. So kids who don't have money for school and they get provided school lunch, what are you going to do about that? Would you cut that? He says, look, I used to work when I was a child. Yeah, he said, I used to work when I was a child. So, is that a yes or no? Is that a yes or no? Oh my God, I'm so loud. I am so loud. I'm so sorry. It's so vulgar and so mean and so nasty.
School lunches. Hey, I worked my way through high school. I don't know about you, but I worked since I was, before I was even 13 years old. I was picking berries in the field before we had child labor laws that precluded that. I was a paper boy. And when I was in high school, I worked my entire way through. You're telling me that...
I used to work before there were child labor laws. Okay, so either you are telling these kids to go and work so that they're breaking the law, or the employers are breaking the law, or coupling with removing school lunch for kids, you're going to also remove child labor laws so that these children can legally work. You got it. The fact that he's saying this with a straight face is wild. The fact that he's saying this with a straight, this is so reckless to me. This is so reckless to me. So he was working before there were child labor laws. So he doesn't say this, but if there are child labor laws preventing children from working, and he's saying, yeah, I'm going to cut them, but I used to work before there were child labor laws. So are you going to remove these restrictions for children to go and work? I just need to know. I need to know if I need to have little Themis be out here working, plowing these fields so that they can get lunch at school. Does my child need to be working, flipping burgers? Does my child at 9-year-old need to be out there cleaning up and dipping it and doing it for money? It seems like nobody want to work. This is wild to me. This position is so fundamental. It's so heartless. And it seems so detached from humanity that it doesn't feel real. Because even if you believe this, even if you're like them poor people, if you're like them poor people don't need to eat, even if you don't say this as a politician, right? Like I I'm so fly just bagged up. I can't. Picking everyone drop a P for a production inquiry. Picking berries at recess is nasty work.
Kids who stay at home instead of going to work at Burger King, McDonald's during the summer should stay at home and get their free lunch instead of going to work. I think we need to have a top-down review.
I think you're painting a lot of these kids with a broad brush. I would say that's not necessarily a fair assessment of all of the kids. So you would say all the kids in your district who use the free lunch, for example, or breakfast, they're all just sitting at home and not working. Okay, I just want to clarify because that seems like what you were trying to insinuate.
This gives us a chance. This gives us a chance, though, to see where is the money really being spent. Who can actually go and actually produce their own income? Who can actually go out there and do something that makes them have value and work?
Wait, why would you tell her no, then repeat exactly what she said? Did you just not like what you heard said back to you? Like what you said, she repeated to you, you said no, and then you go on to repeat what she said you said. Wait, why did you say no to her? Jesus, Jesus be a child labor law. Jesus be a child employer. Oh my God. Hey, Nayani, you've been a member for 44 months. Thank you so much. Jimmy, born in 40s, left school at second grade to help with sharecropping and finally finished her bachelor's about 15 years ago. Labor doesn't help children grow. It doesn't. It removes you from school to refocus you in a very specifically economic sense, right? And so that's wild to me. Team is typing a super chat is a positive reinforcement to participate in the live, feeding love back to his audience members at Team is on. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to do. Also make fun of the streamers. also make fun of the streamers, but yes, mostly this. AC, have you tried unplugging America and then plugging it back in? Girl, the fact that that's what they've been telling me to do with my modem and my router all for the last 3 days. This is very triggering to me because the reason you didn't get me yesterday is because they told me to plug and unplug and restart my modem. Can everyone drop an AC? Everyone drop an AC in the chat. Thank you, AC. We appreciate it. We see you. We love you. We're in community with you. Drop an AC for me, please. All right, let's go, sir.
Work skills for the future. I mean, how many people got their start in fast food restaurants when they were kids versus just giving a blanket rule that gives all kids lunches in high school who are capable of going out and actually getting a job and doing something that makes them have value, thinking about their future instead of...
Kids need to go out in society and work so that they can do something that make them have value. Yeah, it's gonna be a no from me. I was trying to figure out how I can like reframe that in my head. Children need to go out and go participate in the labor market so that they can have value. So, look, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. These embryos ain't working, so can they be aborted then? These fetus, they ain't working. So do they not have value anymore? Can they be aborted? I'm joking, obviously. Please ignore that. It is wild to me. It is wild to me that you're telling me that children need to be out here working so that they can have value. That is wild. So now we have high value children. We're gonna be having a discussion about high value children in a minute. If your child a high value child, how much does your child make? How much does if your child ain't making over 50K a year, is he even working? Is he even valuable? Apparently that's what he's saying, girl. A high value child is a high value child. What do you mean? I should have named it that. Oh my god, I am so mad at myself. I should have made a video and labeled it high value child or high value children. This should have been a standalone video. It should not be hidden away in this mess. Ugh. Here we go. Get a rich child. That is wild to me.
Actually getting a job and doing something that makes them have value, thinking about their future instead of thinking about how they're going to sponge out the government when they don't need to. We don't.
Kids need to stop thinking about how they're going to sponge off the government. Kids need to. Oh my god. I ain't no way this is real. This is not real life. This is him defending cutting, by the way, government spending for children. Beta babies is nasty work. Beta babies is nasty. Oh my god. I need to take an Advil real quick because this ain't right. I know my head is about to start hurting right now, but look at her face. You know this is the face of a woman who wants to drag disrespectfully. You know this is the face of a woman who wants to drag him disrespectfully. But she just sitting there holding her composure. I couldn't do it. He would get dragged. She's so disgusted.
We don't give people value. We don't give them the ability to dig themselves out when we penalize them for actually working and actually keep them on welfare. That's what's been the inner city problem for a very long time.
Y'all, sorry, who said anything about the inner city? Wait, sorry, who said I can't wear my Converse with my dreams, no baby. Girl, who said anything about the? So all this time, this man was talking about black kids. Wait, y'all. This man was. Inner city. Y'all, what's the? Not DEI children, girl. Not DEI. DEI children is nasty work. DEI children is nasty work for lunch. This is wild. We're talking about children. Mind you, the people who would suffer the most when it comes to lunch being provided would be in red states. These are rural areas. These are sure inner city children, but like the way I can't forget that RFK wanted to send our children off to camp to go plow the earth to go back to the farm. The fact that I can't RFK want to put our kids to work. McCormick or whatever his name is want to put our kids to work. Like, thank God I was a child when it was okay to be a child. I did not work during my childhood until about 15 when I started teaching reading. I started teaching reading. I don't know why they hired me to teach their kids reading because I was 15. I got these little posters because funny story, not important, but here we are. We're getting personal. My mom would require that I give her a presentation for why I need money. So I told her that, okay, I'm not going to give you a presentation. I'm going to, instead of making a PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to make a flyer and I'm going to hand it out to all the people in houses around my neighborhood. And so I did, and people started calling me back. And so I started going without a lesson plan or anything. What is even legal? I started going and teaching kids how to read in my neighborhood, like just randomly. Ain't a qualification checked. Ain't a qualification checked. That was some good time. Maybe kids need to work. No, let me stop. Let me not. People, me joking doesn't come off the same way. People take me very seriously. All kids have value. They are literally the continuation of our species. They don't need to be working at 15 and burnt out by 30. He just wants to reinforce the class system by creating more laborers. Yes, and he's speaking very specifically about Black kids. And they're speaking very specific. Oh no, not by the clocks, girl. We get a new clock. No, it was in America. A working child is a patriotic child. Everyone drop an M for Maya. Drop an M for Maya. We appreciate you, Maya. We appreciate you, Maya. Yeah, girl, I was like, absolutely not. That was a working child. Themis was a high value child. Raking in $50 a week, girl, period.
We need to have a top-down review so we can get people out of poverty, because you know what? America's very good at creating jobs and giving people worth. And we've been very traditionally good at that, but we're losing our...
Please remember, I'm going to rewind this, but you need to know that this is in the context of children. Children. So when you're like, America is good at giving people jobs, the people he's talking about are children. The people... What would you do if your son was at home, cried all alone, the baby flew because it's hungry, and the only way to do, tell him to pull up to that diaper and get a job. Yeah, y'all are terrible people. What would you do if your son lay home, cried all alone on the bedroom floor because it's hungry, and the only way to do it is to live it on me for a little bit of money? What happened to them? Drop an M for murder magic tricks.
America's very good at creating jobs and giving people worth. And we've been very traditionally good at that, but we're losing our way. And that's when we give people incentives to stay at home and not work. That doesn't work for America.
But a lot of these kids aren't even of like working age. They're
Look at her. Her face. The country accent is taking me. What do you mean country accent? That's how I talk. That's how I sing normally. Look at her. Lazy kids is nasty work. This man said your children are lazy for going to school, coming home and thinking they shouldn't be contributing. They shouldn't be paying rent. They literally can't work, but that does not mean they shouldn't. That's what he... Look at her. She is so disgusted. She is so disgusted with him.
People incentives to stay at home and not work. That doesn't work for America.
But a lot of these kids aren't even of like working age. They're young kids, and as you well know, and also some of the kids at Head Start, they're like.
And you said it doesn't apply to everyone. Look at her. Just look at. Don't ignore what she's saying. Let me mute her. I'm gonna mute her. The reason I'm muting her is because this man don't care. But what I do want you to see is her face. Just look at her face. It's muted. Let me tell you what she's saying. If you don't get your dusty, disgusting, degenerate, I want to build a snowman, Buffy the Vampire got slayed looking self, let me go back. Go back. Out of my face, you disgusting, degenerate, weak, ain't nothing, ain't people. Look at her. You are disgusting. You are a disgusting slime bag who does not deserve to be FaceTiming me right now. Go get a life, you useless person. That's what she just said. That's exactly. That was my. When your kid can only pay a light. Is it really a child? If the child can only pay the light bill, is that even a child? Is that even a child? Like, children need to be able to pay more than the light bill. Children need to be. You can't just come to me saying, "Oh, mommy, I'm born now. Take care of me." No. What do you bring to the table, young Timmy? Young Timmy. Young Timmy, what do you bring to the table? Man, oh my God. What does young Timmy bring to the table? Drop a D in the chat, everyone. Drop a D for Dash. These poor kids. All right. You know what? Since we're already here, let's listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene and Laura Ingraham tell us that federal workers need to get jobs. let's wait now. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Laura Ingraham said that these federal workers are freeloaders and that they should get jobs. They should get real jobs. Let's go with Laura Ingram's first. Lord Jesus, I can't. Laura Ingrams, who sit up here and gives absolutely nothing. She sits up there and gives nothing, telling people that they need to go get real jobs. Let's hear this.
How do you resurrect your party, though? By protecting red tape and the bureaucracy, by trying to gin up sympathy for federal workers who need to get real jobs in the real world like most of America. Ever heard of it? Now,
Wait. No lies. No lies. When I heard this, I called my friends who literally went to one of the top universities for law school and decided that instead of going to private law firms where they can make tons and tons of money, that they had a bigger calling where they're going to go and fight in the in the government. Laura Ingraham told them people they need to go get real jobs. Are we talking about the soldiers? Like, who exactly are we? Like, I actually want to know who she's talking about. Like, who?
Democrats really think that Americans will stop liking Trump because he fires these people?
I felt absolutely infuriated getting this email with a demand within 48 hours to provide a response on what I did within the last week or face termination. This is clearly an attempt from Elon Musk to harass and bully and intimidate the federal workforce, which is part of his broader plan to gut the federal workforce and privatize public sector services.
Now, making a list of what you accomplished in a week That's what she was whining about, is harassment and bullying? Of course, because that requires, what, 15 minutes of work? Now, these are the same types who think requiring them to return to the office where they haven't been.
You want to know what's so diabolical? Elon Musk essentially said he was joking. Elon Musk, in this, they had this bizarre cabinet meeting that I wanted us to watch, but I can't put y'all through that tonight. Trump had this bizarre cabinet meeting where Elon Musk just stood over everyone and was explaining that he might make mistakes as he's chopping things. And it's so interesting because he was like, yeah, did we mess up on Ebola? Yeah, kind of, not really, but sure. Yeah, we did. And there is this like flippant way in which they're engaging, where obviously this is not a working meeting. It's a very showboaty way of engaging. And I don't know fully why they're doing this, but Elon Musk said essentially that email was just a test. No one got fired, no one cared, because even in the Trump administration, people who Trump installed told the workers that they should not respond to that email, like just ignore Elon asking them for 5 things that they did that week. So I found that really annoying. But let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene had things to say, girl, about you federal workers.
You can protest all you want outside of departments of this government. You can protest all you want, but the American people disagree with you. You're protecting the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is not a business. Those are not real jobs producing federal revenue. By the way, they're consuming taxpayer dollars. Those jobs are paid for by the American tax people who work real jobs, earn real income, pay federal taxes, and then pay these federal employees. Federal employees do not deserve their jobs. Federal employees do not deserve their paychecks. And these are jobs that can be fired at will.
Federal employees do not deserve their jobs. They do not deserve their paycheck. Y'all do realize what's happening when you fire people in the FAA, the fact that when you fire people in the managing our nuclear weaponry, that you had to go back and rehire them. Y'all do recognize that the stream of commerce was completely disrupted when y'all just fired everyone in USAID. To sit there and say, because there's a fundamental principle here, right? Where they want people, Republicans in particular, want people to mistrust the government, and they want there to be no reliance on the government, which theoretically there's some sense there, but what they're doing is they're breaking things in the government to make it not work, and then use the fact that it doesn't work as justification for why they should privatize certain aspects, parts of the government. That is wild to me. Elon Musk overseeing people who are investigating Starlink, his company, and firing them is a conflict of interest. Elon Musk putting his company Starlink up to do or manage communications for the FAA, the communicators, right? Trying to remove Verizon and install Starlink to start a new government contract with his own company in air traffic control is nasty and diabolical work. Like, the level of corruption that we are at right now is actually insane. It is actually insane. So, let's move from our break and let's get into President Zelensky and Putin and Trump and all of that. I'm going to separate this by playing the video again. So, all right, let's refresh, grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking. Let's go get that, and let's come back ready and willing to engage. All right. One of the things, if you haven't been watching Isra Clean from the New York Times, I think he was. If you haven't been watching his podcast, I think you're missing out on very important context, very important stuff. I think he is really smart. I really like his take. I like his interviews. And he just did an interview trying to understand Trump's root principle and what Trump believes. I started and I was 10 minutes in and then I paused it because I did not want, I don't know, I feel like what he was saying was so similar to what I've outlined that I'm not about to watch it until after because I don't want to change what it is that I'm doing. So we're going to get into this press conference in a minute. But I want us to level set a little bit because Trump's foreign policy does make sense to me. I don't agree with it, but it does make sense. His domestic policies don't make sense. I cannot create a kind of outline and principle underpinning Trump's domestic policies, but I can articulate what I think Trump is doing internationally. And I think, like, if I'm going to make it basic, I think Trump wants America to be able to operate like he operates. Whatever you think of Trump in America, how many times he has failed, how people who worked with him in the past no longer want to work with him, but he still climbed and built an empire without care for anyone else, without care for how he's elevating strong, right? He wants America to engage that way globally also. This is a problem. So there is a kind of rejection on Trump's part of peace. There is a rejection of free trade. These things came about in the post-World War II era. In the post-World War II era, we had a bipolar world where we had on one pole, we had Russia. I talked about this earlier. And on another pole, we had the US. And there was a race. We know this. I don't know why I'm explaining the Cold War to you all. Anyway, we had a race, right? But important to the Second World War was an agreement internationally that the US was at the center of. In this negotiation, we created NATO. And NATO is important for a whole bunch of things people think, but national and international security is the key element where America became the US sort of, the US became the police of the world, right? An attack on one member of NATO is an attack on all. This, I think Ezra explained this at some point too. This is a call for American defense, or America to defend its partners, its allies on the global stage, right? Is there a world in which the US could have extracted more from different countries? Is there a world where America could have made itself more overtly prominent amongst other countries? Yes. America had leverage. America had unused power. America negotiated in a way that for Trump, I think Trump fundamentally believes, and this is what I understand and disagree with. I think Trump understands that there are powers, American negotiation power, that America does not tap into and use to exploit more resources and to have better leverage in negotiation with other countries. This is true. It is true that America, with the biggest military in the world, the richest country in the world, where people want to be the security capital of the world, America could extract more globally if they wanted to. The issue fundamentally with this is when you squeeze so hard, people start seeing that you're tyrannical. And therein lies the problem. When we are thinking about negotiation internationally, I think Trump is not a student of history. That's the first thing. And the second thing is the way that he sees the world fundamentally corrupts how to engage in it meaningfully. I think Trump sees the world as strong versus weak, rich versus poor. Pause. I don't know how people don't know this. I don't think Trump cares about the poor. Let me be very clear. I think the poor cares a lot about Trump and projecting onto Trump their dream goals and aspiration, right? They have racist fantasies, and it's easy for them to project that onto Trump. But Trump fundamentally sees the world as strong versus the weak, and the weak gets exploited. There are very key elements. These are my theories. You can either take them or leave them. But the reason Trump likes dictators, and when I say Trump likes dictators, I'm talking about the way that he promotes and talks about them generally. When we think about Putin, Xi Jinping, like there is a kind of respect that comes through whenever Trump is talking about these dictators. Now, when he talks about Trudeau, right, Macron, when he talks about people who are quote unquote liberal, right, and a part of NATO generally, there is a kind of disdain that he speaks about them with. There is a willingness to engage in a tariff war with Canada for no reason, with Mexico for no real reason. There is a willingness to call the president of Ukraine all kinds of names. There's a willingness to call the president of Ukraine a dictator, but then when asked, would you say that about Putin? He goes, why would I do that? I need to negotiate. I won't do that to anyone. But you just did that to your ally or someone who's supposed to be your ally. This kind of flirting with dictatorship, this kind of flirting and rejection rejection of liberalism is a rejection, one, of women empowerment, but two, there is a wanting to go back to the natural order. And the word natural and order are very complicated to define. So we have in its place what I believe is America first. This again, Israel Clean did a really good job of explaining that we don't know what America first means. American imperialism is alive and well. To be an American thinking that we need more power on the global stage is a willingness to engage in xenophobia in the most overt way possible, but also to ignore the amount of power that America has. Almost every country acquiesced to America's whim. We created international regimes and then completely ignore engaging and following the order that is put forward. We don't care about international criminal court. We don't care about a NATO. We don't care about a UN. We do whatever we want as American, the country. And the fact that American imperialism is acknowledged globally is testament to the fact that America is not playing fear. So when Trump comes and Trump sees that America uses its military widely, he's thinking, I believe, this is me being as deferential to Trump's thinking as I possibly can. He's thinking, well, why would we give military service away? Why wouldn't they pay for it? Ignoring the fact that we are doing a lot of that. I have to preface this by saying I'm in no way supporting American imperialism. I am not saying the current order is good for everyone involved. I am merely stating that if we engage in this meaningfully, we have to go all the way there, right? So that's the first thing, right? So hearing European people in government coming out and saying we need to think about a future without America. And America being the international police and security person is not bad for Europe, but it's bad for international stability. Right? All right, so let's get back to where we were initially. We are at the stage right now where we're thinking about Trump and what his policy is internationally. Ultimately, Trump is saying America first. Trump is saying we're being exploited. Trump is saying we can get more. We can take more. We need to make more deals. We need to make more money. We need to stand firm because Trump only understands strength in the most overt way. There is an explicit rejection of soft power. Soft power, by the way, is important for global stability. You have the military, but you don't ever have to use this military in an overt way. You don't have to engage in World War III because you have set the system, you've stocked the deck in your favor, so now you are good. What happens when these people, these countries, feel alienated? What happens when they don't feel protected? I'll tell you what happened. They're going to have to go protect themselves. But again, even before we go up there, you have to really sit with the fact that USD is the reserve currency for the world. That means that you don't really have to think about American debt. Like, you don't have to think about the government going into debt, spending that kind of stuff. Like, you should, obviously, and we should be more careful and thoughtful about how we engage with this. But to think that we don't dominate the global stage currently is wild, right? The second part of this is when we see countries all over Europe not feeling like the US is going to do more for them, when we see the US saying that other countries in NATO need to do more for their own security, this is not bad. What Donald Trump just said about this country is not bad for those countries. It's bad for the US. When Canada does not do or invest in its own military because it thinks about the country, US protecting Canada, and we work together, it puts the US in a very specific advantage when it comes to negotiation, period. So when you start telling countries in NATO that they need to develop their military, and the countries in NATO are responding saying they don't think the US is going to show up if Russia invades one of them, and so they're going to start investing in military, well, do you want a more militarized international community? Because if you do, one of the things that you will come to find is negotiation becomes a lot more difficult when people aren't relying on the US for military power. When countries have their own military might, they don't acquiesce economically in terms of any kind of negotiation to the US. Again, I am not advocating for American imperialism. What I'm saying is that to ignore that it already exists is to fundamentally miss the point of why these international communities were formed, where America became the center of gravity and everything else rotated around it. When I watched the press conference with President Zelensky, Trump, and JD, something very fundamentally shifted. We are in a new international world order. It is clear, even if nothing comes from this, that other countries are fully aware that there is a kind of volatility with America and its engagement globally. Volatility in the way that, can you look to the US to defend you as part of NATO? The answer to that was an affirmative. It was very clear. It has always been clear. International peace and stability has been a thing for the last, since almost 100 years now. Ezra Clean, great breakdown. Definitely go watch. It feels slightly like a regurgitation, but I promise you my outline was done before he did his interview, which went live yesterday. I think this is important stuff. I think engaging in international and foreign policy is important stuff that we need to look at. So, when we think about the soft power in USAID, when we think about the soft power in how we help globally, I think that we need to think about that in context of the military. I think we need to think about that in context of how we engage hard and soft power, and why it is that there is a willingness to acquiesce to what it is that we want. These are my sort of preliminary thoughts after watching a bunch of interviews and my own thoughts about kind of what Trump is doing, and a part of Ezra Clean's interview. If you don't do anything tonight or tomorrow, please watch that interview. All right. It's the latest thing on his channel. All right. So now we have to, with all of that, now we get to the press conference with President Zelensky, who came to the US. And he came to the US to sign a deal where America would give Ukraine weapons in exchange for their natural minerals. This was not something Ukraine wanted to do, but needing weapons, they decided that they were going to do it. I don't know why. I've watched this thing. It's like an hour, really. I watched it like at least 10 times at this point, and I cannot tell you why this devolved so much. I can't tell you. I think that JD was the catalyst, but there are some issues that I have, and we're going to get into it. So let's watch parts. I'm sorry, by the way, if I sound stuffy. Again, I'm sick, so thank you all for hanging in there with me. I was going to say, I'm sorry my voice is trash, but what else is new? Whatever else is new. All right. So, because I don't want us to watch the whole thing together, JD is disrespectful. JD is trying to show Donald Trump that I'm a big boy. It's not funny. But a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, Trump was asked, and I should find this interview, but I won't, if JD was his successor. And he said no. I mean, he said he was great and all of that, but he said no. So I think JD is in overdrive right now, trying to prove himself. Trump's leadership style is one that I don't fully understand. As someone who really appreciates dissent, like, I really appreciate people, not just dissenting to dissent, but I like when people engage with me and are critical to be helpful, right? I don't like people kissing up to me. I don't like people overly complimenting me. I mean, unless you're telling me I'm beautiful, then period. But I don't like people not being thoughtful with their response to anything that I'm doing. Even if that thoughtfulness is compliment, I don't mind. But if it's criticism, I appreciate. So I can't fully understand Trump's drive to have people reframe everything he says to compliment him and engaging that way. Don't get it. JD's not he ain't no diva. So I have some timestamp because we're not about to watch this all. So one of the things that people were mad at is that Zelensky described Putin as a killer. I don't know why people would have an issue with that. That was at the 3-minute mark, right? Yeah, like 3:30.
Support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course the infrastructure or security guarantees, because for today I understand what Europe is ready to do, and of course I want to discuss with you what United States will be ready to do, and I really count on your strong position to stop.
So let me be very clear. This man is literally saying, I understand you want a ceasefire. I get you want a ceasefire. I too want a ceasefire, peace, all of that. We're here. But I'm going to need assurance from you, President Trump, that if something happened after the agreement and Russia tries to breach the agreement, that you're going to do something. Trump does not want to give this assurance. This is wild. Mind you, Zelensky is about to tell JD, look, you keep saying there's an agreement, there's going to be an agreement, but there's been multiple agreements under Obama, under Trump, under Biden, and he has not adhered to his own agreement. So he wanted under Trump too. So let's continue.
Putin, and you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning of war, because he is a killer and terrorist. But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, do safe.
That bad tan and soiled look suits her. Oh, I didn't read that in time for that bad tan and soiled suit. That was Marjorie Taylor, wasn't it? But doing something would cause World War III. No, not necessarily. If I come in peace, thank you so much, everyone. Drop an I. Not necessarily. You can propose protective orders and retaliatory sort of claims. So you can put it out there, and that will deter people. Hopefully, you can use military might as a deterrence instead of actually engaging in it. So not necessarily.
If our country, our values, our freedom, democracy, and of course, no compromises with the killer about our territories, but it will be later. And of course, what I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the
personal opinion also. I don't believe Trump likes Zelensky. I think this is very personal for Trump. I think I think that after Trump asked Zelensky to interfere in the American election and dig things up on Joe Biden, or he would not be giving foreign aid to Zelensky, that when Zelensky told him absolutely not, Trump has never forgotten it. Trump has never forgotten it. Trump was trying to get them to investigate Joe Biden and announce, regardless of if it was true, that they were going to do an investigation in Hunter Biden and Biden engagement. So yeah. I don't think he has forgotten it.
Drones production, we have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians. And I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States, and we need licenses for quick production of air defense.
All right. So this is him talking. Now Trump is going to come in. Let me play this part where Trump is going to tell you why he loves Putin. Let me explain. This is wild to me. This is so unhinged. This is Trump talking about Putin.
About every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do. This puts us in great shape.
And on long-term security, free grant.
I think they're going to have great luck. I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin, and I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it, and we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't think we talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day. All they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal because right now.
The security would have to be a part of the deal. What do you mean? Mind you, I think Trump, because Russia has already occupied certain areas in Ukraine. And I kind of I'm starting to think Trump wants the deal to be that they keep those, right, and not give it back, but also that he doesn't have to invest anything. Like, what do you mean security measures will be after you made the deal? If there are no security measures, what good is the deal? Like, the security measures have to be a part. In a way.
Last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides. 2,000. And they're losing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it. And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to, this is a tremendous amount of money. And what the Biden administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but they had no security on the money. Europe.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to this rambling. But then here is, I think it was 23. Let's do it here. I think this is important too. Zelensky is gonna, because Trump is saying security, no security. We just need a deal. It's fine. Everything will be fine. There will be a deal. So Zelensky is gonna come in and say, girl, why y'all trust Putin? Like, you keep saying security, you keep saying that there's a deal, but you're not telling how the security is gonna happen. Like, where's the security going to come from? What part of that is in the deal? What are the guarantees? Right? You want me to sign a deal without any guarantees. Where are the guarantees? So Zelensky is about to ask Trump, girl, why do you trust Putin?
Appreciate your question very much. I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
If I can answer, sorry, please.
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Even though I think he's a great guy, by the way.
Oh, I definitely skipped the part where a reporter, I think that people were saying it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, boyfriend asked, why you dressed like that? Why? I skipped it because I'm not about to go off. And I think this is very disrespectful. I think the way that he was handled is very disrespectful. While I still believe that when this is going to be really bad, because there's a part of me that feels like for your people, I get pride and I get you standing up for what you believe in, but if you're going to play game with Trump, you're going to have to play on his terms in a lot of ways. And so just don't show up. Like, because it's not going to end well. Because the way I applaud Zelensky for not flipping out. There's but so many B word you can call me. But then thinking about the fact that his people are like, soldiers are being unalived. I think, I don't know, because like he can't even accept a deal without security. Yeah, like for real. Like his question is so legitimate. He cannot accept a deal without security guarantees. Like he can't. Like he legitimately can't. He legitimately can't.
But I don't know if you two like each other, but you know what? I think
No,
he's dressed, I think he's
I
dressed
like this guy. I don't know.
I think he's dressed beautifully.
So I have more serious things than answer on side
Yeah,
questions.
sure,
I will answer on more serious
that's a good
questions if I
statement.
can.
That's
Yeah, so please, about security guarantees and about just ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will not never work because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken his own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke to me.
No, you were the president.
He
You were
never
the
broke-
president
he
during.
never broke to me.
In 2016, you will be the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had during those periods, he had conversations with our side. And we had Normandy format, you know, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough because his soldiers afraid.
This, by the way, is where I would have tweaked my language on Zelensky's part. I would have tweaked my language here. The reason is I don't know that I wouldn't study the person I'm negotiating with. And if I studied Trump enough, I would have known that I can outright tell him in the face of the public that what he's proposing will not work. I would not have done that. But I would not have signed. I am not going to sign a ceasefire without a security guarantee. But I think this is not where it all went down, but it could have gone really poorly here because Trump is going to get really defensive. And unfortunately, in this negotiating scheme, Zelensky does not have a lot of negotiating power. If Trump were a normal president, the threat of NATO and the international community and the volatility that siding with Putin would set could have worked as negotiating bargaining tool, but with Trump, I don't think Trump cares about destabilizing the international community. When Trump says America first, he means America only. And I don't think after watching Trump at the UN, the US government siding with Russia, North Korea, and China, rejecting the condemnation of Russia's invasion into Ukraine, that told me all I needed to do. That told me are we having a realignment of allegiance internationally? One second. Is that what's happening? I think Zelensky had a language barrier. True. Wish he should have just came with a translator, because I don't know that rejecting outright saying Trump is not going to work, like, he's not wrong. Like, what Trump is proposing won't work. Even if it did work for Trump, as soon as Trump is no longer president, whoops, well, there it goes, right? So without a security guarantee, I can get it. But saying it outright here is a choice I would not have made if I'm trying to negotiate with Donald Trump, one, and I'm trying to negotiate for people who are dying. Like, if I'm going to come already, I'm coming, right?
Putin soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our land. Today, you know, he knows that we have, all the world knows that we have meeting, yes? Why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and etc. Ballistic. So he knows that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security. When we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need USA backstop. if there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from the Europeans, because they don't want to divide alliance connection between the United States and the main and strongest ally and Europeans. And this is crucial. This is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all these systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop.
All right. So you get his argument. Like, we need assurances, we need guarantees for security, right? All right. Trump then comes in and talk about how he has stopped many wars before. I'm just gonna play it just to play it because, like, I have it as a note, but I remember listening to Trump talking about, I stopped wars that people didn't even know were gonna be wars. I'm like, all right, girl, let's play. Let me.
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed. I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and we ended up making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, what and how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin?
I don't know, but well, they don't like each other. I can tell you that. They do not like each other. This is not a love match, and it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay, the United States, run by a man that didn't know much. I'm going to be very nice. Run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started.
Yeah, you can have it. You can take it.
You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
That is, I feel like that's an insane thing to have said. I think that, anyway, Trump then goes on to say that the cities in Ukraine, they're done. It's dusty. It's useless. Right here, actually, let me play this. And I'm going to tell you what I think is happening. I think that Trump does not see any utility in Ukraine where he finds utility in Russia. I think he sees Ukraine as weak, and saving Ukraine, engaging with Ukraine, siding with Ukraine is not good in terms of what he gets back from Ukraine specifically. Not really thinking about the international signal that will send and what that will mean for America globally. He's thinking about Ukraine specifically as a country and not thinking there is much to gain from a siding with Ukraine over Russia. Also, he does not like Zelensky because he told Zelensky to meddle, right? And so, let me be very clear. I do understand. When I say understand, please don't take the next step to say I agree with, because whenever I do that, what I'm saying when I say I understand Trump's international policy, I'm saying it actually connects, right? There is a through line that has principle, like create a kind of principle underpinning Trump's international policy where there is none domestically. I don't know what this man knows, cares about, engages with domestically. What I do know is there is a willingness to exploit the international community for Trump. I think Trump wants to side with people he thinks are powerful. And America First is about extracting as much as he can from quote unquote weaker countries. I agree. Y'all really do need to be delivered from linking understanding with agree. Because I got dragged in earlier for saying understanding.
It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kyiv or Odessa, which is going to be a 30-year-old Black Sea?
It was my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to.
Listen to this. Listen to how Trump described Ukraine. This is so wrong. Listen to this.
Talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No,
and a lot of
things have to happen. You have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes.
Zelensky, girl, you did that, but probably shouldn't have done that. He's standing up for his national identity. He's standing up for his country, and he's standing up for his, that wish is national and important to him, right? And so a mischaracterization of his country and cities in his country as like unrecognizable because everything has been destroyed sends a signal. This for me is why I think Trump doesn't care. I think Trump sees Ukraine as like not useful to him. No, yeah, that was out of pocket. That was out of pocket. Let me go back a little. People, only one part of this interview went viral, but the whole interview was just like, I was just mouth agape.
Go there. If we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kyiv or Odessa, which is going to be a 30-year-old Black Sea?
It was my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No.
And a lot of things.
What do you mean there is not a building standing? What do you mean you want to know something? I do actually think they might have some kind of respect. I think no one will respect JD, and this is why it devolves. I think JD should not have been there, but he's the vice president.
Mr. President, you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things have been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online, but we live. Ukraine is fighting, and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes. So,
Mr. President, more.
When did you last speak with President Putin? And what did he say?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he?
When did you last speak to President Putin? And what did he give you? When did he give you assurance? When did he give you assurance about the ceasefire?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do, is make deals.
Yeah, that's cute, but that was not the question. The question was, what has he told you? How has he indicated to you that this is what he wanted? How, all right, girl.
And I'm in the middle of a mess, because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and does not engage in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is.
Let's get to the messiest of messy parts ever.
If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
They ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go. Please,
I already mentioned.
I noticed that the First Lady isn't around Trump all that much. LOL, trouble behind closed door. You were worried about the First Lady? I want to know what Usha thinks. I need someone to go interview JD Vance's wife. That's who I want to know what she thinks of her husband. I want someone to go in. She was a lawyer from Yale, blah, blah, blah. So she's smart enough, hopefully, to not put it out there. But I want to know what Usha thinks.
Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a.
That equalizing bit is so wild when Russia invaded Ukraine. Like, I think that's such a wild. The other thing that I don't understand, mind you, is that this has never been a partisan issue at all, ever. And so watching this become an issue that's drawing against party lines is kind of wild. Like, this has not ever been a party. Like, this is never, like, the war in Ukraine, versus Russia, that has never been like an issue that the Democrats are known for or the left is known. It was like pretty much we were unanimous in the indictment of Russia.
Question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I have a response.
No, when I say partisan, I mean Republican generally, not specifically MAGA. Not specifically MAGA. I know where Trump stood on Russia. I knew where Trump stood on Russia. Yes, I did. But I was talking about, even if you look at the tweets, and we're going to go to Marco Rubio in a minute, like across party lines, people were in agreement. But yeah, no, I knew where Trump stood. Yeah.
On to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up.
Mind you, there was a question, how are you going to guarantee peace? That is the question. Trump gave a non-answer that Putin wants peace. Sure. And so JD decided, how do I be as respectful as possible here? JD has decided that he is going to perform for Donald Trump right now so that he can be seen, that he's a big boy and he can be aggressive and tough and strong. And so that's what that's what JD is the type of person that could do a lot of good work, but he's also the type of person who can be the most vile and evil person, depending on who he's looking up to or sucking up to in that moment. He can become one of the worst villains ever by mere fact of bending his personality in the way of whoever he's seeking approval from. Unfortunately, that wasn't a good person. So JD right now is performing. He's peacocking. This is attempt at saying, look at me, daddy, I'm here, right? And for all our purposes, the negative is the things he has to do to show his allegiance will be very chaotic. I think JD, I worry a lot about JD wanting approval than Trump, insofar as I think he now needs to do and step out in ways that I don't think he would normally just do. Not that I know him before, but if you read his book, if you watch his interview, if you engage with anything he did prior to Donald Trump, or him siding with Donald Trump, what you will see is a completely different man. And I do believe that he is mustering up every sense of toxic masculinity that he can find to be strong and firm so that Trump can see him as the successor. Because Trump already told the Fox News that he does not see JD as his successor. That is a wild thing to say about your VP. So either your VP becomes a backstabber or they suck up real hard to try to make you change your mind. Guess which one JD has chosen? Fruitcakes, I need y'all to align with the like button. Thank you. Let me check this like button. Oh, no, there's 500 likes. I can, let me end this poll. Thank you all. I appreciate that. That was really cute.
Press conferences and talk tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
So JD interrupted and said, all them other girls weren't any diva. President Trump is doing something new. He's an innovator. He is bringing negotiation to the table. He's going to do something that no other president has ever done before. He's going to offer a ceasefire as a deal that apparently 25 times Putin has violated. So, Zelensky is about to ask a question that I think was completely fair. And I don't know why people say this is white deteriorated. This is not white deteriorated. This is an important question.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it, our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump.
This is what stung. This is what stung. And I don't think you do a good enough review of this moment if you don't point this out. And I've yet to see it being pointed out. What Zelensky just did was say, not only are you telling me Obama is weak and Biden is weak, you're telling me you are also weak because it was also under you that Vladimir violated his agreement. Y'all caught that? Y'all caught that? That is important because Trump in the beginning said, oh, he's never done anything under me. Our agreement is going to just be different. Just trust me, bro. Right? The issue with this, you can't do that to Trump. Unfortunately, if you want Trump to help you, you're going to have to kiss the ring. There is no way around it. Either he loves you and respects you, i.e. Vladimir Putin, or you're willing to do his bidding, or you just gonna have to bend over back. You're gonna have to be JD. No, I don't think it was even strays Obama was catching. I think Zelensky is actually pointing out I am not just here saying I don't want peace. I'm saying that under multiple different presidents, Putin has destroyed and violated his agreement. We've had ceasefires in the past under Obama, under Trump, under Biden, and it has failed. What I want is not another ceasefire deal. What I want is a ceasefire deal with some guarantees on the back end. That is fear.
Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 is
2014. Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022.
I was not here. Sorry. The willingness with which Trump brushes off accountability is strange because it is America. So you can try to make one president look bad and then the other president look good. You can do that all you want. Ultimately, it's America's failure, right, to enforce a deal. You can, under your presidency, too. And even if you were different, right, and Putin respects you as an individual, it means he doesn't respect America, which is separate from you and separate from your administration. And in fact, in 4 years' time, you too will no longer be a part of the administration. You will no longer be president. What happens then? So you are not thinking, the inability to see the big picture feels intentional. This feels intentional. It does. I don't think for a second Trump is unaware of what Zelensky is asking for and the importance of what is actually necessary, and he's just not willing to give it. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, the situation the same. That people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president in 2019. I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
I'm sorry. I know it's annoying when I pause like this, but this makes me so sad. This does make me sad. I think this is probably one of the lowest point in sort of international relations, like a press conference between another leader. I think this might be one of the lowest meetings, and it gives me this very weird feeling of just disappointment, anxiety, and I'm stressed even watching it. Because not only is JD not someone who stands up for anything, and we saw him going around the world doing speeches, and people ignoring him, but he is really trying right now. He's trying on this macho masculine persona and beating down someone by saying we should not be litigating this in front of the public. But you are the one who brought it up. Like, you brought it up. When he asking you what are you talking about, like, what can you explain this? I'm giving you an example of why this doesn't work in the way that you're positing.
Broken this.
I think this is a national embarrassment. I do. I think this is a national embarrassment.
Ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? That you say what problems we have?
I have been to. I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is.
Okay, so that would be a no. Have you been to Ukraine, JD? I heard from a friend of a friend of a friend that you, what Doja Cat said? No, he meant litigate. He meant litigate in terms of like arguing about it publicly. But it wasn't Zelensky who is arguing. It was JD who brought it up. The issue is, I think that Zelensky fundamentally misunderstood the negotiation, right? And one of the things that you have to figure out before you start negotiating is who you're negotiating with. And you don't get, unfortunately, to tell the truth to these people if the truth is going to be embarrassing for them. And you definitely don't tell the truth publicly in a negotiation with them publicly. So I don't know how you thread that needle, but you don't do it publicly. You're going to have to figure out a way to get through to them privately because they're very focused on posturing for the American audience. They don't care about you. They don't care about actually solving your problem. All they care about right now is good press. And they're not going to let you take that good press away from them. So you either acquiesce and accept what they're saying as true, the holy grail, first time ever, this is definitely going to work, or you become enemy. Unfortunately, you're starting off as enemy.
Is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems with bringing people into your military?
Saying that the president of Ukraine is bringing people on a propagated tour is wild. I think pretending that the atrocities happening aren't happening and it's just a media narrative being spun by Ukraine for help is a wild statement when you do know there is an invasion and people are dying, children are being stolen. I think it is wild.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
That is not a dictating of what you're going to feel. He's expressing to you a potential reality of a destabilized global economy and world generally. it is absolutely wild that you took that moment to attack him when he's saying this. You could feel probably actually you will feel this, even if not from me, from the global economy shift. That is insane that is what Trump decided to attack on. And I think part of why Trump did that is he understood if Trump doesn't understand anything, he understands media. I think Trump is very good with media, good as in understanding and using it, not good in terms of morally good. I think he gets it. And so what he doesn't want out there is that by not siding with Ukraine, that the US would be in a less good, a worse position. And so he has to push back on that immediately. And that's what he's doing right now.
We're going to feel very good.
Feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influenced.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now.
At this point, either man could have stopped. At this point, either man. I think Zelensky is correct, right? I think that he's standing up for his dignity, his people. I think he is right. But I do know that you're negotiating for help. Stop. Or Trump, stop. Someone needs to stop. This is ghetto. This engagement right here, right now, this is not it. These are two presidents squabbling like children. That is wild. Truth to power versus saving face. I disagree with this assertion, but I do get it and I understand where it comes from. Truth to power, when your soldiers are dying and you need help, is very difficult thing. It is very difficult to do. And if you're going to negotiate on Trump's terms, there are things you're going to have to do that do not feel good, right? And while I do appreciate ultimately that after this interview, we had every European leader and also Trudeau up north were sending support and standing behind Zelensky, right? And so there has been a re-energizing of the international community to re-engage in aid to Ukraine. And so that's a good thing for Ukraine that came out of this. And he does seem strong, but I do take issue with the unwillingness. And again, let me be very clear. I would have been went off. I'm not even speaking from a perspective of like I could have done better. I would have been went off. It would have been a problem. So I commend Zelensky for his ability to control himself. But I do think when people lives are at stake, there are times where you gonna have to suck it up, buttercup. I don't think this is necessary. When Trump is saying you're in a bad position, okay, I am actually. My people are dying. I am in a bad position, actually. I'll take that. I'm in a bad position. My follow-up is what that got to do with what we're talking about right now, right? But I wouldn't have said the end part.
With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you
I mean, I think also it's very difficult to have a grown man yelling in your face like this, pointing at you, actually making physical contact with you while they are yelling at you. I think this is humiliating, right? I would call this bullying. And in some ways, I do still believe that, but this is kind of insane. I don't even if I see sometimes the world as strong and weak, I don't see it in the way I think Trump sees it, which is the strong exploit the weak. I don't see it as survival of the fittest. I think the reason that we are different kind of animals as human beings is because we can tell stories, we can negotiate, and we can create the world that we want to see. Like we can imagine a world and then build it out. Part of that is the importance of standing up and caring for those who cannot care for themselves. And so Trump's principle on power, the strong and the weak, is fundamentally, I think, about taking and diminishing, humiliating, and bullying those he sees as weaker than him. And that is insane to me. And the fact that we agree with this, because this is America, and we don't get to pretend that this is not us as Americans globally. This is what we are seen as. This is now our identity. And we don't get to say, but half of America don't believe this. No, this is what we've chosen. This is what we have done. And now this is the consequence. And this is what our image is globally. And that is important, again, for the soft power that we need to wield generally.
You're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to
respect
you.
to you.
Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
Have you said thank you once this entire time? I promise you, everyone getting dragged. I would have just dragged them. I'm sorry. Gloves would be off. We're dragging. Because what? Mind you, all he's been saying is thank you. To the country, to Trump, to everyone. All this man have been doing is saying thank you. And also explaining why it is that he needs a security guarantee that comes with the ceasefire, because both are required. He came here to give up 50% of his minerals till infinity to the US in exchange for weapon and signed a ceasefire. Only thing he's asking now is that we have a security guarantee. Now, is there wanting to be in war? No, absolutely not. But I don't understand why they thought they were gonna like bully this man publicly. And I don't know why JD is taking this moment to like even after he started the issue, it's dying down and he goes, "Oh, have you said thank you one time?" Girl, get out of my face. We're negotiating right now.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big...
I think Zelensky was over it and decided to drag. You think if you speak loudly that make you a diva? You ain't no diva. That's what. You want to know something? You want to know something? It's very clear to me that no one respects JD. It's very clear. There were many times that Zelensky could have went off, and as soon as JD started speaking, that's when Zelensky went off. I think there is a slight, because JD was being disrespectful. And in truth, he didn't go off. Zelensky asked a legitimate question, a question that he didn't have to ask, but it was a legitimate question. And so, like, JD is speaking now, talking about, oh, have you said thank you? And Zelensky saying, you think if you talk loud, you are going to be a diva? You ain't no diva. Like, it doesn't matter how high that octave goes, you ain't no diva with that eyeliner. Insanity.
Trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
We are
coming out
staying-
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't
and
been
not only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't have
I feel like that's assault. I'm sorry, I feel like that's assault. This right here, where is it?
through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
That is assault. Battery, sorry. That is battery. I don't know, but maybe you can sue him now for the the money for the military. I sue him now for like that was unwelcome touching. That was unwelcome touching. Assault and battery immediately.
The war you
he's
can
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
We are
coming out
staying-
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thanks.
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that there,
to American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very
I understand.
important. That's why I kept this going.
I think we should do this privately. Trump, no, I want to do it publicly. Vance, oh, I understand. Oh, okay. So Trump wanted to do this publicly. Got it.
Going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go.
That is so insulting. Even the trying to mimic the voice. Unfortunately for Trump, also, Trump likes this energy. I think some of Trump base love this energy. I think they see Trump as the re-emergence of a very specific kind of masculinity. And I want to tie this back into the gender wars, but I'll hold on to that for 2 more seconds. But it is the way that I think, this is the way that I think people think strong men behave. The way Trump behaves. Yeah, this is so unhinged to me. And when you have that much power, to be that insecure still and having to posture this way, it's actually kind of insane. So no amount of power will be enough because he just doesn't like. There's a feeling maybe of inadequacy that does not allow him to actually sit in the fact that you are the most powerful man on the face of the earth right now. That should be very humbling and reassuring.
And I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire?
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
it
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you.
By the way, speaking about a president like this is ridiculous. when you are now the president representing the country after the power has been transferred to you, right? Continuously blaming other people is wild. This is what a child does. They blame everything on everyone else.
Sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
I would have just called it a day. I promise I would have just called it a day. But let me show you something that JD said. And at the time, apparently, there was this conversation about, oh, this is sarcasm. And it might not be, it might be sarcasm, but I'm gonna show it anyway. This this is what JD had to say on Twitter in 2024. JD says, 7 years ago, Vladimir Putin approached me and offered to buy 2 million copies of my book. Then, years after the book left the bestseller list, he invaded Ukraine and gave me a lifetime ban from Russia. And then he said, this is all sarcasm. Also, these people are all crazy, right? But is it now conceivable? Let me leave that alone. I think it is conceivable that happened. Now, I know he thought he was joking, but the way these lives set up. Anyway, so Marco Rubio is the person who apparently set up this deal, right? Marco Rubio is the person who set up this deal. And after the blowout, he came on and he said, thank you, POTUS, for standing up for America in a way that no president has ever had the courage to do before. Thank you for putting America first. America first. America is with you, right? That's what he said to the shenanigans, right? Mind you, this has been Marco Rubio's position. I went back on Marco Rubio's page, Twitter, and I typed in Ukraine because I wanted to know what Republican Marco Rubio, because this has become an anti-Ukraine, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't insane. Let me show y'all what Marco Rubio has been saying. This was in 2022. We're going to go through some of them, not all of them. I took a bunch of screenshots because I'm pretty sure they were. Now our focus should be to do everything we can to help Ukraine defeat Putin. This was in 2022. Also, if you're a YouTube content creator and you haven't, you can definitely screenshot this, but also go and I would love for someone to compile all the Republican switching positions, just generally. Rubio, same year. Putin still wants to capture. Wait, oh my God, 1 second. Sorry, I didn't realize I was on for 3 hours. I'm messaging someone. Where am I? But when he realized that it's not feasible, blah, 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 we need to defeat Putin. We should have passed funding for Ukraine 2 weeks ago, but instead Democrats held it hostage so it could ram through thousands of earmarked Green Now New Deal programs. The hiring of blah, 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 blah. He's saying we need to get funding for Ukraine. I warned 4 days ago, Putin would soon start targeting supply convoys to Ukraine. Now Russia is openly threatening to do so. I hope Biden is making it clear to Putin. Hear this. I hope, this is what Marco Rubio said. I hope I hope Biden is making it clear to Putin that harming a single American soldier would be the worst decision he has ever made. So there was a very even Republicans had an Putin position. Rubio also said, I don't think I know she's lying. China is helping Russia in major ways with the criminal invasion of Ukraine. This is Marco Rubio. Why is it so hard for the West to understand that these people in Moscow, girl, anyway, he's saying that Russia lies about everything. Marco Rubio is sitting in the room, mind you, with Zelensky and Trump right as they speak. These were his tweets. Danger, this is how Russia sets up false flag. If there is a biological weapon incident in Ukraine, be 100% certain it is the Russians who did it. He was very, 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 very pro-Ukraine. I don't understand why the Republicans are pretending. And mind you, Rubio is a good place to see what the general Republicans are talking about. Rubio is not going to just deviate from the party just as a general stand, like for his general position. Listen to this. The United States transatlantic partnership with Europe is vital. In my meeting with officials from France, Germany, Italy, the UK, and EU, we discussed our shared priorities when it comes to Russia's war against Ukraine, China, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about the rest. It is wild to me. It is absolutely wild to me that you can make all these tweets, and then when you sit in front of people like you're just sitting there, we must help Ukraine defend itself from barbaric invasion. Now on day 11 of Putin's criminal invasion of Ukraine. I'm sorry. I don't like how spineless these people are. Like, it also feels very reminiscent of kind of like, I don't know. Like, how do you engage with people who are going to just misrepresent their position, lie about what they believe in, like there is nothing like at all to engage with. Like, even Zelensky came back and did an interview. I would not have done this if I were him. And he explained himself. Let me play a little bit of this. So after the blow up, he went on Fox News. I don't know who told him to do that. And he wanted to explain himself.
What made you mad? Because they said your tenor and tone. It's not about mad. It's not, Brad. How to say? When you are in the United States, and for example, president or vice president or somebody or senators, doesn't matter, big politicians, yes? When they, for example, say that Ukraine is almost destroyed, that our soldiers run away, that they are not heroes, that Ukraine lost millions of civilians, that his president is dictator, you know? What is the reaction? It's not about me. The reaction is that where is our friendship between Ukraine and the United States? That's it. This is filling. And that's why I do not want to lose our great partners in the United States. And I just said that it's not the first time. I said it by phone, and we had some other conversations, and we had the Munich meetings, and I said, please, be correct. I want to be very polite. I mean this, be correct with this number. When you say about the number, each person is important. When you say about 1 million of losses, we don't have any million of losses. When you speak about the territories, maybe some territories and etc., it's not just territory, it's houses, it's people's lives. You know, their fathers, mother, their relatives, grandfather, they died during this war. Nobody wants to forgive Putin. It's not funny, you know, or fairy tale. This is real life. That's what I said. And when you said it, a lot of times to my big friends who've been here today in our dialogue, and then they again begin to repeat the same things. I think it's not. I mean, that's why I said it's not a good way between partners. Good.
Yeah, he's wearing the same. This was right after. Here's the thing. I think Zelensky thinking Trump sees him as a partner might actually be part of the problem, because Trump does not see him as a partner. Trump sees him as weak and needing help, and Trump does not look favorably on people who he sees as weak and needing help. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's that simple, but it kind of is that simple. Like, this is how, and it's so fascinating to me because this is how Republicans are engaging with what happened. So I'm going to play two clips.
Anybody had any idea that Zelensky would be so impertinent, so disrespectful, so insulting to the United States of America? Look, this is one of the great moments in the history of American diplomacy. The way that President Trump and JD Vance stood up for American interests in the world stage, the way that President Trump defended Americans after years of being fleeced and abused and taken advantage of and taken for granted, millions of American hearts swelled with overflowing pride today to watch President Trump put Zelensky in his place. The only reason that Zelensky has a country, that Zelensky is in power, is because of the United States. Americans have suffered economically, funding this war now for years. American security has been degraded, our stockpiles depleted, our ability to project power in other regions of the world negatively affected to protect and defend Ukraine. Americans probably don't even know the true extent of just how much military support on multiple levels and fronts America has provided to Ukraine. And then this man shows up in the Oval Office and lectures us, says we have to do more, says we're not as good as Europe, says that we need to provide them a...
None of that was said. Zelensky came over to legitimately sign a deal and ask, what are the security assurances for the ceasefire? That was his only question. That was his one and only question. And neither JD nor Trump had an answer. So, yeah. Yeah. I think this is wild.
Forever war guarantee, fight Russia till the end of time. No American watching that today says they want to send their sons and daughters to die on behalf of Zelensky. And President Trump was clear and firm and principled, saying either you're our partner for peace in ending this war, or we can't work with you.
Nah, he looked like he got some work done. He looked like he got some work done. It's not good work. It just looked different. Here is one closer to home. Here's one closer to home.
Hi.
Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready? All right, let's do it. Let's do it together.
If you've paid attention to what was going on in our country today, you saw that we had a person that came into our White House and met with our president, our vice president, our secretary of state, our secretary of defense, our national security advisor, and others. This person greatly disrespected the United States and all of the people that were involved in this meeting. Because of this, I'm standing up and saying that the American people stand with our president, no matter what our differences are, whether they're political, whether they're racial, or whether they're religious. Everyone should stand with America, because right now it is extremely important that he knows, that our president knows, that he is backed by the American citizens. There are many people that are out there pretending this is a partisan situation. In the time of American sovereignty, in the time when Americans need our defense, our backing, then Americans must stand up and say, President Trump, I stand with you. I stand with you and your entire cabinet and everyone, and our Vice President, JD Vance. And thank you for standing up for us. Anyway, if you agree with me and if you stand with the United States of America, please comment on this video, and I ask you to please forward this to other Americans, and I ask every American to forward this to other Americans as well, to let our country know that we stand with America, and we are proud to say that we are strong Americans.
Yeah, I was just following this lady's instruction. She said to forward it to all of y'all, so I sure gave it to all of y'all. I'm not about to read Justin Trudeau's statement. Just know that he stands with Ukraine. There was this guy who did an analysis of the interview, but it's too long, and I don't want to do it. I'm gonna skip Trump's gold card. I'm gonna skip Trump's gold Visa card, Trump card. I'm just gonna skip that. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and just like skip that. And then go to JD talking to men. And now we're gonna tie this back into the gender war. And so this JD Vance had something very important for the men's. So here's what JD had to say to men.
But let's start with an antidote to all that lefty craziness. This is the
wow.
rest of the Western world.
My message to young men is don't allow this broken culture to send you a message that you're a bad person because you're a man, because you like to tell a joke, because you like to have a beer with your friends, or because you're competitive. It's
Wait, wait. What are these jokes? JD, what are these jokes? What are these jokes?
because you like to have a beer with your friends, or because you're competitive. It's our cultural message is, I think that it wants to turn everybody, into, whether male or female, into androgynous idiots who think the same, talk the same, and act the same. We actually think God made male and female for a purpose, and we want you guys to thrive as young men and as young women, and we're going to help with our public policy to make it possible to do that.
Mind you, the public policies, the education system, remove Medicaid and Medicare funding, stop childhood research around cancer, like legit removing social safety net and giving a tax cut to the wealthiest of wealthy by removing the, again, social safety net and programs for people who are poor. Just so you know, that's how they're going to help you with your family. That is insane. Now she's gonna be excited. Oh my God, men can be men again. Whee! Who's telling men not to be men? There is a seismic shift. Do you guys say seismic or seismic? I don't like words. There is a shift happening in the way of men attempting to quote unquote reclaim masculinity, right? And so on one level, like, we're talking about this political stuff. We're someone said period. You know how I know the last part is Mick, but like I could say this means size Mike. It is size Mike, guys. It's size Mike. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate it. Seismic. In the way that we are talking about men and this inability to do what they want and oppress women, I think we're talking about dictatorship versus democracy and liberalism more generally, and the thoughts and ideas around liberalism taking hold globally is getting met with a kind of pushback where men don't want to engage in competition for job. They don't want to be in classrooms with women. I think there is I need us to get back to this macho ideal of manhood as the de facto kind of standard. Regardless of the fact that we just had a conversation about men unable to learn, not true, mind you, unable to do as well as women in classes, right? And unable to engage their emotions meaningfully. And instead of saying, you know what, maybe we should figure that out first and then we can have the conversation about male leadership later. But we need to like equip these men with the base level reading comprehension, like the base level of things. They're like, okay, girl, we just need to take back control and suppress and control. Let's hear what this woman. She's smiling as if JD Vance said anything worth. Let's hear her.
Joining me now is Newsweek's senior editor at large at Article 3 Project Senior Counsel, Josh Hammer. Josh, is the era of demonising men, demonising masculinity as inherently toxic and undesirable, is that era finally over?
Rita, do you want to know how I know that America is back? Is because we have a 40-year-old vice president of the United States who uses terms like androgynous idiot from the nation's largest conservative political gathering there. I mean, I think that the war on men is absolutely over. JD Vance is the perfect vice president to try to make manliness in America great again. This is someone who is 40 years old, who comes from the Rust Belt there. He wrote about this at great length in his best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. He knows exactly what young men have been dealing with for the past.
He went to Yale, studied law, graduated from law school, is among the most educated on paper. You know, his personal life, him switching over to Trump means that he's like legitimately not engaging his mental faculties, and probably intentionally so. He is not like y'all. I promise you, while JD is the incel archetype personified in the way he speaks and the way that he looks, he did go to get an education. Mind you, the Republicans are telling men not to go to school. School is not important. There is this disdain for education, while the people telling lower class that they shouldn't go to school, they're going to school. Like, you don't get much more elite than Yale and Harvard and Georgetown. Ooh. You don't get more elite than these schools for law. The T14 are the best law schools in the world. So it is wild to be at the institution of institutions, graduate from that, become a lawyer, then tell other people, oh, like, wait? Masculine with the aisle, period.
Last 20 years. He also knows just how badly the Obama, Biden, Kamala Harris manifestation of the Democratic Party has commenced and waged a prolific and hideous war on men there, because again, he has come of political age during this exact same cycle. So at this point in the year 2025, with Donald Trump as president, JD Vance as vice president, I think we can definitively say that the war on men, as we have seen here in America, is over. That's not to say that it could not come back with a vengeance 4 or 8 years from now, God forbid. But for now, Rita, from personal experience, I can tell you it's a pretty good time to be a man in America these days.
When was it ever not a good time to be a man? Oh no, I'm not hating. Colombia is right number 4 last time I checked, but I haven't rechecked the ranking. They're probably 7 or 8 now. But like the T14, yeah, no, all of it. Colombia is definitely included. Let's see. Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Chicago, Columbia, NYU. Is it Northwestern? I think that's 9. University of Virginia is somewhere up there. Cornell is somewhere up there. Georgetown is somewhere up there. UVA is somewhere up there. I think I said UVA already. I'm missing one. I can. There was 1 or 2 that I'm missing, but those are the like top law schools. Temis, don't be hating on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm not. Also, sorry. What is he talking about? What UPenn? Thank you, UPenn. Trump's alma mater for business, but UPenn law. Duke also. UPenn and Duke. Those are the 2 that I was missing. No. It does not hover there. It's actually. I graduated from a T14 wherever it is now. I don't care. I don't care. Georgetown can rank way higher, but their classes are too big, and they don't want to cut the class in half.
Well, that's good to hear, Josh. Now, you wrote a fantastic piece for The Spectator on JD Vance, and that speech that put Europe on notice made it clear that Europe's current priorities are no longer America's priorities. Tell me what you think will be the fallout from, well, that was really a Trump administration rebuke. JD Vance may have delivered it, but that came straight from the Trump administration. And it was a rebuke of the European elites.
Yeah, and it directly flows from Donald Trump's foreign policy the first term, too. So JD Vance is a very articulate spokesman, and give him a lot of credit for being the 40-year-old who goes there into the belly of the European Union beast. And
yeah, nope, not doing that. I'm over it. You said Emory. I did not say Emory. But Emory is a really good school. My mom graduated from Emory, not for law though. We can't do the cabinet meeting. Should I do God's plan? Because they think people losing their job is part of God's plan. Probably shouldn't. Too much work for y'all.
I want there to be more conservatives that are trying to participate in.
I feel like I shouldn't watch this. And the reason is I don't want to engage. I don't want to engage. I'm going to drop the link for 10 minutes. The first 2 people come up. You guys can ask me questions, and we'll have 2 people. You can talk about whatever it is that your little heart desires for 10 minutes. Because I'm going to go in the after show now. Can't do it. Someone said Chanel. I've been trying to tell Themis. Let me see what Chanel said. I don't know. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you so much. I didn't know that if I could do this live stream tonight, so I'm glad I could, because my whole body was aching. And so I went to take a nap, and I woke up and I felt a lot better. Still sick and stuffy and weird, but I appreciate you. They're trying to get me blocked, Themis. Ignore them. Wait, why were you black? Wait, did you do Trump's Golden Gaza ad? Thank you all for being here. I will talk about Trump's Golden Gaza plan in a second when I get back. let me see if I can quickly go through the things I haven't covered. Trump's golden card means that he doesn't care about immigration insofar as wanting to limit immigration. He wanted to only limit it insofar as rich people should be able to come in from very specific country. That's what he means. The gold card is essentially buying citizenship. The Tate brothers coming over because of Trump's pressure. It don't matter. Don't care about the Tates. We'll talk about that another time. JD's message to men, I talked about that. The abortion issue. I feel that I should engage with this more deeply, and I will at some point, because we need to get into this abortion discussion and the fact that the people who are making the rules don't know anything. Joy Ann Reid got fired. Didn't watch her show, feel bad for her because that's one less voice. But I honestly, I didn't watch her show. And apparently the ratings weren't doing well, but the ratings weren't doing well across the board. So I don't know why she was singled out. So I will do some more investigating into that. I have an opinion, but I won't share that. The cabinet meeting was a mess. RFK does not know what he's doing, it seems. Elon Musk does not really care. I think there is a huge conflict of interest. The GOP also going home to their town halls telling people that them getting fired is a part of God's plan and that these people, they can find work. So I'm assuming because they're deporting immigrants, these Americans who were working in the federal government need to not complain anymore and just go take on the jobs of the illegal immigrants. They didn't say that, but that's essentially what I'm getting. I want to talk about the AP being restricted in terms of access, but I will let that be. All right. So someone had a question. What was the question about? Yeah. Completely forgot what the question was. I like the speed round. No. I just wanted to go through what was on my thing. Funny enough, I went through it because I wanted to talk. Oh, the ad. I think that Donald Trump retweeting ad about ethnic cleansing as a general matter is actually kind of insane. I don't think I've ever seen this happening, and I don't care where you fall on the political aisle. I don't know why he thought that would have been a good idea. Even if you're pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, whatever you're pro, this does not. Like, I can see people saying, oh, I thought Trump coming in would help or would hurt, but not America would want to take over. So yeah. That was kind of insane, like, to see. And I got a bunch of messages about this, but yeah. One of the things, like, the funny thing is, like, I'm not even a politically, like, radical person. You can change, if you give me a good argument on an issue, you can change my mind. By good, I mean better than mine, right? So, like, I don't hold fast to, like, political ideology if I cannot back it up with some kind of principle. I require a kind of principle. And so I just don't fully understand people who will reject their own principles in an effort to cling to power, because I don't know long term that works. Separately, I have to reckon with a reality that karma might not be real. And that's an existential crisis. But, like, karma might not be real and there is no balancing of the world where, like, people who are obviously bad or a person can, like, kill and manipulate, abuse their way to success, and there is no drawback for that, right? Like there is no sort of, I don't know, I don't feel like there is like this like esoteric order that balances things out, and being good becomes this kind of moral superior stance that allows you to be more. And I think that that is just really sad. I think that's sad because like you see one man lie, cheat, scam, steal, broke laws his way to being powerful. And at an age where like, I mean, he probably on his last couple legs, you know what I mean? So like he never faced any consequences. And then you see someone like Bernie Sanders, who is like 80 something, dedicating himself. By the way, this is like straight up one of the most boss things that I've seen. He is going around the country at 80 something fighting fascism. That is insane. And like obviously he's still doing well, but like he's been consistent, and that's sad. It's funny because I had this outline of Jasmine Crockett saying, cursing at Trump via a question from a reporter, and there was something very off-putting about that. And I had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to sit there and write out a script for why this is a problem in these here times. In these here times when people are threatening her to fight her, right? And so, like, my own idiosyncratic beliefs and what is truth and all of that, it no longer, like, obviously, I will still talk, but it doesn't feel like it has a place anymore. Like I feel like I have a place. It's not that, but like it doesn't feel very useful. Like my analysis of the world feels like I in my inability internationally I can track Trump. Like internationally I can track Trump. Domestically I can't. Like I cannot track what Trump believes outside of him seeing people as weak and wanting to take advantage of them. There is also this Elon Musk bit where I, for the life of me, like I get projecting your own insecurities and your wants and needs and dream onto Elon and Trump, but like when you're being directly impacted negatively by the policy, your need to be right and to prove yourself right and to not have made a mistake is so overwhelming that you will allow harm to yourself. But you would allow harm to yourself and you would allow harm to other people that you love and care about just to pretend like you won. I think that's wild. I think that's wild. So yeah, and I think that that mishap this week when I sat down to write out my notes, obviously I wrote it, and immediately when I wrote it, I was like, what am I talking about? She didn't do anything in like close to what Trump and any of them did. Like women were trying to fight her in Congress. So like, no. So I immediately do away with my notes, but I think we have entered a weird phase in politics where anything goes and everyone is lying. And everyone is like, just like, even the leader of the Democrat Party taking money from Trump. Oh, that's a whole drag. I won't do it now because my head is hurting too much to do that. But not today, not today, Satan, because I can't drag the Democrats right now yet. I want to say thank you all so much for sticking by me, sticking through it with me. I really appreciate you all. Um, I might keep this as my background. This is literally just a wall in one of my rooms. So like, I think I might just make this into my studio because actually, like, I put that up, but like, I do like that and how basic it is, and the fact that the white makes me look my rightful color. So thank you. Wait, actually, drop a 1 if you like the background, and a 2 if you think I should just make this into a studio. Drop a 1 if you like the background and I should keep it, or 2 if I should upgrade it into like an actual studio. All right. Why y'all do that? No, why you put 2? That's too much work. All right, Truth Teller says I like it, so I might hang something up. Maybe I've been so exhausted. You shouldn't have asked this. You need a globe in the background. I like it. It reminds me of old Thema Studio when you first started, so 1 for me. Either is fine. Yeah, I probably should slowly do it then. We'll see. I like the minimalism of it all. It doesn't feel like a lot. But yeah, we'll see. I'll probably do something to it because, yeah. Do what you like. We'll see. Thank you all. Good night. Keep it like this for 6 months and change it if you want. All right, I'll do for 2 or 3 months, and then we'll come back. We'll check back in. I might do something with the wall though. All right, bye.